I'm Rick Thomason. Southern Iran has been hit by a fresh round of U.S. military strikes.
A statement from U.S. Central Command said the strikes were carried out to protect troops in the region from threats posed by Iranian forces. The statement didn't provide details of the attacks, but unconfirmed reports suggest the targets involved 2 Iranian boats linked to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard that were alleged to have been laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz, as well as the port city of Bandar Abbas nearby. The developments come at a delicate time diplomatically, with a fragile ceasefire in place and negotiations to end the conflict currently underway in Qatar.
And that's BBC's David Willis. President Trump says a deal with Iran would require its enriched uranium to be turned over immediately to the U.S. or to be destroyed in place in Iran. And Secretary of State Rubio says it's either going to be a good deal with Iran or there isn't going to be one. No longer danger of a massive explosion of a chemical storage tank in Southern California and forced tens of thousands from their homes.
The crack is there. We have verified that it's there, and the tank has released its pressure. Additionally to that, the temperature has been stabilized and actually reducing. It is currently 93 degrees, down from 100 degrees. That is incredibly positive news as we turn the corner on this incident.
Orange County Fire Chief Craig Covey says the goal is to get all of the evacuees back home ASAP. Primary day in Texas, Republicans deciding between incumbent U.S. Senator John Cornyn and State Attorney General Ken Paxton. Paxton has the backing of President Trump. Parts of the South dealing with flash flooding. And more of the same is possible today, according to forecasters. It extends from Texas into Georgia and up into the Carolinas. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Health insurance rates are surging in America, leaving millions without affordable options. If you're sick of having paychecks eaten up by healthcare costs or dealing with mega corporations, then listen to this. Christians don't need to waste money on a broken system. That's why I want to tell you about Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's an alternative to traditional health insurance at half the cost. With CHM, fellow believers contribute monthly to help pay each other's medical bills. There's no enrollment period, so you can join anytime. And you aren't restricted to provider networks, so you choose the doctors and hospitals you want. It's that simple. CHM is not insurance. It's a ministry that puts faith into action. Feel the difference of financial support and biblical care from fellow believers. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
With 2 new cases reported, the number of Ebola infections in Uganda has risen to 7. Correspondent Rika Ann Garcia has the update.
All the cases are linked to the outbreak in Congo, which appears to have started several days or weeks before Congolese authorities declared the outbreak recently. A health worker spoke to the AP about the awareness campaign that they've been conducting in local communities. We've come to tell the people of Bibo Kolomani that the disease is here. Unfortunately, we're facing resistance and some people want to stone us, but we're not going to give up. We're continuing to tell them that the disease is here. The outbreak in Congo is worrisome. Authorities there said suspected Ebola cases have now passed 900 in the east of the country. The outbreak is marked by anger and frustration among locals, including some who have been attacking treatment centers. I'm Rika Ann Garcia.
News and analysis at townhall.com. Europe is sweltering.
The UK broke its record for the hottest temperature recorded in May, 94.6 Fahrenheit.
Oh, it's too hot for me, even though I'm from Hong Kong, but that is a different level, I think.
How are you enjoying this?
I'm not. Don't like it at all.
You don't like it, that's why you're sitting there in the shade.
The UK Health Security Agency issued its first Amber Health Alert of the year, warning of a possible rise in heat-related deaths. In France, 2 deaths were reported, possibly sports-related. Menon Hubert in Paris says it's quite scary for the future because we're not even in summer yet. I'm Ed Donahue.
Following the long holiday weekend, traders return to work this morning on Wall Street. The Dow will open at a record high, and this morning stock futures are sharply higher. The Dow futures up 236 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 283, and the S&P futures better by 47 points. Townhall.com.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, My Pillow mattresses and My Pillow mattress toppers as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale only $14.98. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
To take advantage of the second annual mega sale, go to mypillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla.
Trouble concentrating or recalling information is frustrating, embarrassing, and kills productivity. Nutrition company Healthy Cell created Focus and Recall to boost your brain power. Unlike other supplements that don't work, Focus and Recall is not a pill. It's a gel you swallow with ultra absorption of science-backed ingredients to help you immediately sharpen focus, concentrate longer, and strengthen recall. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order. Risk-free. Love it or your money back. Guaranteed. Healthycell.com. Code Godzilla.
Folks, this is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea. I have recently turned 77 years old. I do not take prescription drugs. I have not had to take prescription drugs, and I attribute a lot of my good health to a product that I've been taking, which is the active ingredient in Soul Tea. It's a 22% concentration of theaflavin. We did clinical trials on it 25 years ago and found that it helped lower cholesterol. We have had many, many hundreds of letters and emails from customers telling us how it has helped them not only manage their cholesterol, but lower their triglycerides and help them on their blood pressure. And I can't tell you how much I attribute to Soul Tea for my good health at age 77. And I encourage you to go to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. And use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% off on your initial shipment of Soul Tea. And I promise you it will be a great help for your heart health. Thanks so much.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Happy Tuesday morning, listening fam. I hope that everybody had a restful and contemplative Memorial Day weekend. This is the John Fredericks Media Network. I'm Dan Hobgood. Time for a look at weather and sports. We'll start as we always do with where I am in the capital of the South, Richmond, Virginia. Squirrels were winners of 2 against Binghamton over the weekend, lost 1. They're at Akron beginning today, 11:05 first pitch. And you know, 5 days ago, I think I told everybody to keep an umbrella handy. 5 days later, I'm still going to be telling you to keep an umbrella handy. Looking at a high today in Richmond of 77 and stormy. A low tonight of 70 degrees and still stormy. Right now, the temperature is 68 degrees, and we'll say it's kind of drizzly outside. That's my Jim Cantori, man on the scene assessment of the weather right now in RVA. Moving on to the nation's capital. The Nats topped the Cleveland politically correctsters yesterday, 10-2. First pitch between those two teams tonight at 6:10. High today in D.C. of 75 and rainy. A low of 67 and rainy. Right now, the temperature is 65 degrees in the nation's capital. Moving on to Atlanta. Well, speaking of the Nats, the Braves were a rare series loser over the weekend to the Nats. They're at the Bo Sox starting today, 6:45 p.m. first pitch. High in Atlanta of 78 degrees and stormy. A low of 68, still stormy. And right now, the temperature is also 68 degrees and rainy. Nashville, you're looking at a high today of 79 degrees. Guess what? It's going to be stormy. A low of 69. You guessed it, stormy. Right now, the temperature is 69 degrees and rainy. Philadelphia, hey, your Phils beat the Padres in San Diego yesterday, 3-0. The teams will face off again tonight, starting at 9:40 Eastern Time. High today in Philadelphia of 82 and... Wait, what? Sunny? Let's see if this holds true. A low tonight of 66. Rainy. Right now, the temperature is 63 degrees in the city of brotherly love. Morgantown, where the road to Omaha begins for WV Baseball. They'll host the Binghamton Bearcats Friday night at 5 p.m. In the meantime, today, a high in Morgantown of 78 and stormy. A low of 65 with showers. Right now, the temperature is 63 degrees. All right, Yinzers. Well, the Buccos topped the Cubbies in the first game of their 4-game series yesterday. Cubs have now lost 9 times. 9 times in a row. High today in the 412 of 81 degrees, a low of 66 and showers. Right now, the temperature is 57. Meanwhile, in other sports news, the Knicks sweep the Cavs to head to the NBA Finals, where they will face either OKC or San Antonio, whose series for the Western Conference Finals is now tied 2-2. The Carolina Hurricanes, winners in overtime last night over Montreal for a 2-1 Eastern Conference Final Series lead in the NHL playoffs. Bringing you today's Weather and Sports Update is the Godzilla Wins radio show for the best insight, analysis, and picks. Watch and listen to Godzilla Wins Saturday mornings from 9 to 11 all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Plus, to get John's daily sports picks, go to GodzillaWins.com. Once again, that's GodzillaWins.com. This has been Dan Hobgood for the John Fredericks Media Network. Outside the Box with the Ox is next, followed by The John Fredericks Show. Stay tuned, everyone.
Philosophy professor Ingrid Vendrell Ferran's 4 types of hate model: normative, ideological, retributive, and malicious, covering hate due to the belief that the target has violated norms, making them bad people, that they represent an ideological enemy to the hater, a desire to punish, seek vengeance upon someone for past wrongs, and simply to cause harm or suffering to the target by the hater. Checking all those boxes seem to be the Trump derangement syndrome haters, evidenced by that idiot brewing company owner promising free beer the day Trump is assassinated. Jimmy Kimmel saying Melania has a glow like an expectant widow, thinking everyone else is in agreement with them. After the White House press dinner shooting Saturday, the hate from the left ironically surged rather than uniting everybody, like they were disappointed that the self-titled friendly federal assassin didn't actually take out the president. Okay, how do these same people feel about how Trump reacted immediately after? He called for an end to the hate, and even, despite what seemed to be a security perimeter breakdown, praising the Secret Service and all whom were working security that night. To which the left had to absolutely, well, hate, because thinking outside the box, if this would have happened to one of their beloved political friends, instead of taking the high road, we'd hear from them,
next time be more careful, kids.
It's because of you people. It's your fault. It's always your fault. You are not capable of handling to take orders from me.
Here outside the box with the Ox in the Eastern Time Zone and now in West Virginia on the John Fredericks Media Network.
John Fredericks.
It is the most egregious thing I've seen in a lifetime.
President Trump.
The whole thing is ridiculous.
When politics start getting wild.
They want to have every single thing that you don't want. Raise taxes, men and women's sports. They're going to open up their border.
Trump hits the speed dial.
Thank you for calling in on such short notice.
You came first, John.
Wake up with the John Fredericks Show weekday morning, 6 Eastern, 5 Central on JFMN.TV, the massive J-Fred radio network, and all across the socials.
You came first, John. Thank you very much, and you do a great job.
Right now, download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play and get the entire Mountaineers sports world in the palm of your hand. Right now, get notified when new stories drop about your favorite Mountaineers teams and athletes. Download the WV Sports Nation app right now. Get updates on next-level Mountaineers like Weatherholt and Joe Mazzulla. All that and more right in your pocket right now. Download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play. Download the app right now.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who is 6 months to a year ahead of everybody but God himself, John Fredericks.
Here beneath arching trees and white stones so beautiful, these many are made one again, united forever as brothers and sisters in arms and children of our fathers in heaven. From coast to coast, from proud cities to humble towns, and from heartland fields, from every race and religion, they came because they could not bear the thought that the nation they love so much might ask for heroes and hear no answer. But they answered, and they answered very, very loudly at Ticonderoga and San Juan Hill, at Manila Bay and Midway, at Pointe du Hoc and Busan. The courage of the American warrior has forged a path through every sea and every place that's marked a trail to every corner on the earth. In 250 years, America's heroes have saved more lives, freed more captives, accomplished more good, and spread more hope than any other people at any time in the history of the world. Whole nations, no liberty today. Entire generations, no freedom. Billions and billions of people have been delivered from poverty, tyranny, and oppression because of the sacrifices we honor this day. That's why from Brittany to Sicily, from Panama City to Saipan, from the Netherlands to North Africa to New Zealand, this whole planet is adorned with memorials to America's fallen and to America's greatness, to their courage, carved in marble and engraved in the hearts of all of mankind. We will never forget you. From 1776 to 2026, America has always stood as a great and moral cause. Our warriors are no mere mercenaries. They are guardian angels who stride across the battlefields of history and stand watch over the highest and most beautiful plains the human spirit has ever seen, holding the line between liberty and tyranny, between civilization and barbarism, between good and evil. Wherever the American soldier walks, wherever he fights, wherever he fails, and wherever he falls, he does it for the destiny of a nation like no other. There's never been anybody like you. And for the fate of freedom on this earth, we salute you like nobody has ever been saluted before. Before we hail the founding, we honor the fallen. Before we celebrate the triumph, we pay the tribute. Before we crown the victory, we count the cost. Today we are reminded that there could be no 4th of July without America's armed forces, and there could be no Independence Day without Memorial Day.
So Molly, you know, it's an open secret that the senators who are already there in D.C., they do not want to work with Ken Paxton.
Yes, they do.
They already have Ted Cruz, who's not the most popular senator in the building. Yeah. And a lot of them seem to be dreading the idea of working with Paxton. To what extent do you think the fact that they made their displeasure about the president coming out, throwing his hat out there for Paxton here, was motivated by sort of the political calculus, or just like, seriously, we're going to have to work with this guy? That's what you're proposing.
Yeah, and he may not even win. I think that I would like to pull back to that adorable couple where they were like, his private life is not about this, because Angela Paxton, his now soon-to-be ex-wife, or just ex-wife, was actually a Texas state senator, too. She did not vote to impeach him because she was not allowed to. The rules of the Senate are such. But, like, the idea that he could have a personal life and not a public life when, in fact, his wife is also in the state Senate, I mean, that just seems preposterous to me. But yes, Paxton is a big personality, right? He is the Trumpier than Trump type. And I think that was popular with this primary electorate. But again, this emboldened Trump believes that winning red state primaries is the same as winning in general elections. And I'm not sure when you look at those polls and when you look at Republican-leaning indies that these two things are synonymous anymore.
You think Tallarico has a real chance here?
I mean, Texas, the Texas Senate races for Democrats have always been expensive and disappointing. So I have no idea, but it's certainly, when you look at these polls and you look at where people are and you look at the polling in Florida and when you talk to people on the ground locally, I mean, there are some real 80-20 issues out there that this electorate has found. And there are things like data centers, right? There are things like, and I think there may be some realigning with the electorate about feeling that the elites are not taking care of them and not fighting for them. And, that Tallarico may be able to tap into that.
Yeah. All right.
All right, Senator Cornyn, welcome and thanks for being with us. A couple of months ago, it seemed all but certain that the president was going to endorse you. And you have gone to some great lengths to repair and maintain a working relationship with him. Certainly no Texan has escaped the ads touting your 99.3% Trump voting record. Now, you were always the underdog in this race, and our polling average shows that has been true. Do you think the president flinched in endorsing you because he didn't think you could win?
I really don't think it was about me. I think it's very different from the Cassidy and Massey situation because I've been a Trump ally, as you point out. I think he got frustrated with the Senate not able to get what he wanted when he wanted it. And as you know, the president can be a pretty impatient guy, and I certainly understand that. He's a chief executive guy. He's not a legislative guy. And so I think he just got frustrated, and he wanted to send a message.
All right. So on that, you mentioned Senator Cassidy. It is true that he had voted to convict the president, that there was deeper enmity there. But he did run a very similar kind of campaign in the sense that he talked about his voting record with the president and he talked about how he was going to advance the agenda. He did all that and then he lost the primary. And when he got back to Washington, it was a very different Bill Cassidy. We saw a different Bill Cassidy come back, including as he said, as he did, vote against the president on the Iran war powers resolution. I know you believe that you're going to win on Tuesday, and the only poll that counts is on Election Day. But if it doesn't work out the way you want it to, would we expect to see a different John Cornyn when you're back in Washington?
I don't think so. I think I would certainly do what I always try to do is pick my fights on a case-by-case basis. And, I'm supportive of President Trump, as we've discussed, because I want him to be successful. And I want America to be successful. I want our party to be successful. So I'll continue to vote in that same way. But sometimes the president needs a little help when particularly we're dealing with the midterms here, where I think there's a lot more anxiety than perhaps we can fully appreciate about the midterms. And this is going to be critical to his last 2 years in office. If we lose the House, he'll likely get impeached for a third time, and will make it virtually impossible to pass his legislative agenda. So I'd like to continue to try to help the president where I can.
Okay.
You're on the John Fredericks Radio Network. Great to have you with us. Hope everybody had a super Memorial Day weekend like we did. It was great to have 3 days off and get a little sleep in. Slept 12 hours, 11 hours on Monday. So, Danny, I don't know if you got up early, but I went to bed at 11 o'clock. I got up at 10. So that's the way to do a day off. No question about it. Good to have everybody with us today as we start our week. We got a lot going on this week. The fraud thing continues to go on. J.D. Vance has got the attorney generals in today in the White House. They're going to be talking about what they're doing with the fraud. This is a big initiative for him, obviously. As he looks at 2028 and looks to continue the MAGA mantle, he's got Rubio there, who is getting a tremendous amount of press. Last night, the American military bombing raid on Iran. We don't know the exact extent of it right now. They said it was not an offense, it was defense. They said their ships were getting fired on, so they fired back. That doesn't sound like a ceasefire to me. I don't know what the Iranians are doing, and I don't know what we're doing. But we need to open the straits, take these islands, and end this thing. There's never going to be a compromise here. And I'll tell you the other thing that is you just have to understand that whatever deal the President Trump makes, whatever deal he makes, it doesn't matter what it is, right? It's regardless of the deal he makes, the Democrats are going to say Iran won the war. It doesn't matter. They already got the narrative out there. Iran can give up everything. They're going to tell you that the Iranians won the war, Trump is a failure, that the Obama deal was better, that this never should have happened, this war was illegal, they never should have done it, they were never going to get a bomb, etc. So just plant that in the back of your mind. Every single article that we have, every single thing that goes on, everything that goes on, right? Everything you read is all negative on Trump because the fake news media sees this as going away. They see it's going away. They see it's slipping away. It doesn't matter if I open up Washington Post, Politico, New York Times, you go right to Axios, it goes right down the line. Everything is negative. Everything is telling you how the sky is falling, the Democrats are going to win, Trump is awful, the Republicans are going to lose, and all they talk about is gas. Now it's gas, ballroom, and this J6 fund, or whatever you want to call it. Fund for those that have been hurt and wiped out by their weaponization. That's all you hear about. Not one thing that they say about what is going to make your life better. Look, when they were in charge, gas was $5.02. So, they're going to solve gas? They don't even want to drill. They don't even want us to be energy independent. They want you to be buying electric cars, and I don't even know where they're getting the electricity, and nobody can afford them. They want solar that doesn't work, wind that doesn't work. So what exactly are they going to do to make your life better? I know they've opened up a lead in the polls, and I know it doesn't look good. But we got to get this war ended and when the gas prices come down $1.90, what the hell are they going to say? I mean, here's the problem when you are a party and you've got one issue, and that issue can go away. And now what they're saying, see, they know it's going away because now they changed their narrative. See, now what they're saying is, well, people are going to remember the gas prices in the summer. No, they're not. Nobody's going to remember what you paid for gas in May when it's $1.90 in September. The hell's going to remember that? Oh, well, they're going to remember that and punish the Republicans. No, they're paying $1.89. They're paying $2.05. So you're not going to get that at all. Zero chance of that happening. So this is why, look, just stay the course. Get out of this war. Whatever is negotiated, and a negotiation is coming, whatever is negotiated, the Democrats are going to tell you, we lost the war. That is what they're going to tell you, because that's all they have. They have nothing else. This is a failed party. You saw that autopsy they did. Now they're fighting over whether or not they get rid of the chairman, Ken Martin, over releasing it. Release it, don't release it. Nothing was in this autopsy. It was all tactics. Oh, we should have done more digital. Oh, we should have done this. Oh, we should have put more money in these red states. Oh, we should have put more money here. It's all nonsense. They never said our policies have failed and nobody wanted them. Nobody wanted transgenders in bathrooms. Nobody wanted men in girls' sports. Nobody wanted anything they had to offer. Everything was a failure. Now they're saying, Trump's going to lose Vegas now. He's going to lose these seats in Nevada because Canadians are mad and they're not visiting there. What? What? I just got no tax on tips. I kept tens of thousands of dollars in my pocket. And now I'm going to vote the Republicans out that did this, to vote the Democrats in that are going to take it away because some Canadian doesn't want to visit Vegas because he's pissed at Trump. This is the nonsense that's getting out there, folks, every single day. Truth and clarity right here. Truth and clarity. Big race today. It is in Texas. Paxton is going to win easy. Cornyn, last gasp, last legs, going to get blown out. Going to lose by 10 plus. And he's going to win the Senate. Terralico is not going to win. I'm sure we'll do a bus tour down there. That's fun. Terralico is not going to win. Cornyn's going to lose. One by one, we need to knock these rhinos out. Got Pam Evett coming on today, South Carolina. We will give her her endorsement today. She has been the Joan of Arc of South Carolina. She never stops. We're trying to get this map done. Now the Senate's in there is trying to bully their way to a stall. They got a couple of them stalling this thing. McMaster can't sign it until today after early voting is starting. So now they're going to say, well, early voting is starting. We can't do anything. Yes, you can. You just get rid of the map. Here's what I'm disappointed in. Alabama could have gotten us 2 seats. They got 1. You got to play hardball here. Why only 1 seat? What do you think is going to happen here? Oh, the New York Times will say something nice about me. The Alabama legislators said, well, let's at least give them 1 seat. No, give them none. Give them none like they were going to do with us in Virginia. Play hardball, chin music. Got to lace them up and lace them tight or get out of the game. You play to win the game. Yes, I'll take the 1 seat. It could have been 2. Well, we might weaken one of the other seats. No, you're not. There's no Democrats going to win in Alabama. Nobody's going to win in South Carolina. Nobody's going to win in Texas. It's not going to happen. Stay the course. Have the courage of your convictions. The only way we beat these people is ballots in boxes and maps. That's all I'm interested in. No, I don't care about ideology. That's ridiculous. At this stage of the game, I'm walking through D.C. Sunday. They just put up these drop boxes. They look secure. I'll give them that. They did look secure to me and Ann. 888-480-JOHN. You want to weigh in? Hope you had a great Memorial Day. I'll be right back. You're on the John Fredericks Media Network.
Yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your sat phone. Call now.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
This meeting with China and President Trump, the stakes couldn't be higher.
Listen, China's not our friend. They've been stealing our technology. They've been stealing the AI, responsible for the COVID. Let's be very, very careful about giving stuff to China.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
It's the top news of the day.
China wants the oil from Iran.
They want to make a deal that's good for them and not piss us off too much.
What if those who were once called conspiracy theorists turn out to be right again? A new study by Korean doctors claimed that COVID vaccines raise the risk of 6 cancers, including lung, breast, and prostate. Researchers analyzed health records from more than 8.4 million adults between 2021 and 2023, and their findings were published in Biomarker Research, a respected scientific journal. Critics dismiss it, but the data raises concern that spike protein exposure may be tied to long-term health risks. And Dr. Peter McCullough has been aware of this since 2020, which is why he collaborated with the wellness company to create Ultimate Spike Detox, designed to help your body clear spike proteins, reduce inflammation, and support heart health. With natural ingredients like nattokinase, dandelion root, and bromelain, it is your daily proactive defense from a man-made virus. Don't wait until symptoms strike or something unexpected happens. Experience the only formula approved and used by Dr. McCullough, one of the top doctors who risked it all. Go to twc.health/Godzilla. That's twc.health/Godzilla and use promo code Godzilla to get 10% off plus free shipping.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging supplements clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Solti almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Solti. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Solti, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who is 6 months to a year ahead of everybody but God himself, John Fredericks.
Hey, great opening, Dan. I love it. Thank you for doing that over the weekend. Dan, open up your mic. That's the best opening we've ever had. I want to thank you for that, and for Mike Papish for getting that done. Dan, how'd you do it? What was the inspiration?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I did say, I hope I didn't crib it too much, but I did say to Papish, I said, hey, do you remember that? You remember the opening to Moonlighting, where all the letters sort of went sort of crosswise until they got to the right spot? So he said, I think I see what you're putting down there. I think I can pick up what you're putting down. So yeah, credit to Papish. Papish did a great job with the video, and I have something more to add to everything tomorrow that I couldn't get to today, but just something for our commercial breaks. But yeah, I'm excited. So yeah, I hope that you liked it.
It was great. Thank you. I know it took a lot of work, and appreciate it. It sounds great, looks fabulous, and thanks for doing that. Thanks for doing that on your own. 888-480-JOHN. You're on the John Fredericks Media Network. We got a little bit of a short week this week. Hope you enjoyed again your holiday weekend. Dan, hope you had got a little sleep like I did. It was fantastic. And I got 11 hours on Monday, so I really feel good. And I didn't get up early today either. I slept through my alarm 3:45, and I hit the snooze button, and that was it. So I'm catching up on my sleep, but we got a lot going on. We're going to be in Morgantown on Friday with the bus. We're going to wrap that for WV Sports Nation and WV The Torch, our app there and our website and our radio stations. And we're going to be in Morgantown, and we're going to have a pregame show before all of the West Virginia games. They are hosting the tournament. They're the 16th seed, and they are hosting the regional tournament. Binghamton, Kentucky, and Wake Forest will be there. We're going to have a pregame show about an hour before each of the games, which will be played on West Virginia and Pittsburgh station. So we're really looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Bus is going to be there. We're going to do our show from the bus on Friday. We'll get there Thursday night in Morgantown for the big regional of NCAA baseball, the Mountaineers getting in it. So that's going to be a lot of fun, Dan. We'll go over that in the call today at noon. So all fun. And we're going to be here, though, in D.C. for the remainder of the week until we leave on Thursday afternoon. 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646 if you want to weigh in. So let's get we want to get to, here's Mandami. You can't get enough of this guy because what he's doing, he's the darling of the Democrats. I mean, this is their party. And so this is why we feature him, because he is their party. He is what they believe. They are communist, and he is the lead communist. I want to go to cut 3 here. Here's Mandami. He says, tax increases for corporations and millionaires will Trump-proof New Yorkers until, of course, everybody leaves. And, of course, anything that happens, even though he's in charge, he'll blame Trump. And then he'll, because he's giving him advice on the Iran war as well. I think he thinks he's part of his, war cabinet or something, but he's texting him and giving him advice as if Trump gives a rat's ass what this commie says. But hey, he brought him in the Oval Office and played nice. So, it is what it is. He gave him his phone number and now they're, best buddies, I guess. 3, Mandami, roll it.
Your platform says you'll raise the corporate tax rate to 11.5%. And you point out, just like neighboring New Jersey, that's 5B, and then tax the wealthiest 1% above basically people over millionaires, the flat 2% tax. What is
4B?
Go ahead, 4B. Okay. And so what does that get you? And what do you say to people who are concerned that New Yorkers are already taxed enough?
So that would get you $9 billion. And then we also said that we would save an additional $1 billion through procurement reform, through the following of the Independent Budget Office's analysis of hiring more fiscal auditors, and also by finally starting to collect on the fines and fees from landlords that owe this city currently about $800 million over a period of overall fines and fees of about $2.5 billion. So this is our revenue plan. This would more than pay for our economic agenda. It would actually allow us to start Trump-proofing our city. And what I mean by that is we're seeing right now what the Trump agenda portends for New Yorkers. This is a man who ran a presidential campaign on the premise of cheaper groceries that is now trying to cut SNAP benefits to make it even harder to afford those same groceries. And we have to protect the New Yorkers with the least from the attacks from the man with the most power in this country. For too long as Democrats, we've thought that simply fighting back against Donald Trump is a sufficient political message. We also have to fight for something. And so at the heart of my campaign is a commitment to make buses fast and free. That would cost around $700 million. That's something that fits firmly within the question of political reality. It's just, do we have the political will to deliver it? The other commitment is about universal child care. This is something that would cost around $6 billion, something the governor is very much interested in, has been fighting for quite some time. And I appreciate not only her endorsement, so the shared commitment on this question of affordability.
You have spoken about
$6 billion here, $2 billion there, $5 billion there. All of a sudden, it comes up to some real money. He is under the impression that he can just tax corporations and people, and they just stay there and pay it. What a rude awakening this clown is going to have. He is an absolute communist clown. Let's get to him again. Here's cut 5 when he's talking about 50 Cent. Go ahead, roll it. 5, Mandami again.
So the shared commitment on this question of affordability.
You have spoken about these financial plans you have, and you made a point on New York radio, which a lot of people listen to address 50 Cent. And he's a critic.
He's a critic
of high taxes.
But let me tell you.
Go ahead, and then we'll play it. Go ahead.
I didn't even know what my salary would be until I opened up Instagram and I saw this thing, which was like 50 Cent offers Mamdani X amount of money.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a very specific amount of money. And I was like, oh my God,
Yeah. So now we'll do this in reverse order.
Sorry.
He said, I'll give you $258,000 and a first class one-way ticket out of New York. That's what you're referencing.
You know, what I would say to you, 50, if you are indeed watching, or anyone else who's watching this show, is I continue to think that having the top 1% of New York City, who are making more than $1 million a year, having them pay 2% more for an economic agenda that would transform every New Yorker's life, including their own, is something that is worthwhile. And the reason I say including their own is when you see a city like ours that is underfunding its city agencies, that is pulling back on the most basic things like library services and trash cans, everybody feels the knock-on effects of that. And my job as someone who believes deeply in the public sector is to ensure that we're delivering public excellence. And that means every dollar that we raise, I want to be able to prove to you that it's every dollar that's being well spent.
For those of you on the radio, when he answered that question, this guy is masterful. He didn't look at the host, whoever that was, libtard. He looked directly into the camera. This guy is very good. You know what? I play these clips because we got to wake up. I mean, this guy has an agenda, and it's resonating with people because he puts a very nice spin on I will take from those who produced and give it to those who do not produce. That is his message. Now, we all know it's going to fail. But right now, all he talks about is giving you things for free healthcare, free childcare, free buses, free subways, free everything. And he's going to get that money by taxing those that have produced more and more until eventually they leave the city. And then he doesn't get the revenue. And what he's trying to do is lock them into staying by making it almost impossible now to sell their property without going through the city government. I mean, you are watching a communist takeover of New York City right under your feet, right under your nose, happening every day. And he's not some old man with crazy hair like Bernie Sanders running around like a jackrabbit. This guy is polished. He's media savvy. He has an army. I told you last week what he did about these soccer tickets. He's doing a lottery of 1,000 people at $50 a ticket. He's keeping it open for weeks. Why is he doing this? Well, you have to register online to win a $50 ticket. He's got 1,000 of them. He'll get 250,000 to 500,000 people that go on there in New York City. You have to be a New York City resident. So what does he get? Emails and texts. This is his army. You'll never get this guy out. You'll never get him out. And when they run out of stuff, then the riots will start. And Hochul is so petrified of this guy, she'll keep taxing New Yorkers around the state to give him money. She's petrified of him. Everybody is petrified of him. And he's going to continue to get these soft peddling interviews like this guy at MS Now or whatever that is called now. Just, oh, aren't you great? Oh, aren't you great? These are all a setup, and we're all standing around, making fun of him. There's nothing here to make fun of. This guy has got it figured out. He knows how to sell communism. When prices are high and inflation is up and gas is high, he knows how to do it. And he knows how to say, you need to pay other people to live better. You have a better life, they don't. This is not Graham Plattner in Maine who is going to get killed. This guy, if the election were held today, he'd get 70% of the vote there. I don't know if he was born in this country or not, if he can run for president, but if he did, this guy's going to win states. This is what AOC is modeling herself, and she is going to run for president, and I don't care what anybody says, she's going to be the nominee. This is the party you're dealing with. Just understand it. Don't be mad. Understand it. This is why not getting every seat in Alabama makes no sense to me. Get every seat you can. Fight with everything you can, because this is what you're fighting with. And this guy is going to take everything you got and give it to his army that will keep him in power. That's what the communists do. They'll take and take and take and take, and they'll give and give and give and give, and that becomes their vote base. That becomes their army of people. That becomes their flash mob. Anything they want, they will send out a tweet, they will get it. They will have millions of people at their disposal, hoping to get something free from him. Think about this. Meantime, you got kids upset over AI. You got the Pope upset over it. Got a lot of different things going on here. Rob, New York, line 1. I've got a lot to go over, Rob's, but I'll give you a minute. Go ahead.
Hey, John. Good morning, John. I
Hi.
just wanted to say, and thanks for, I know it's a busy day, but thank you for bringing up that the media has already written their stories. It's not just the media, even the anti-MAGA Republicans, because all weekend, all we had to hear was, oh, the deal's done. It's a done deal. Okay, show me the link to it. Well, I don't have it. Well, Ted Cruz said this. Okay, pull up Ted Cruz's tweet. He admits in there he doesn't know. He's hearing. John Thune sent the senators home on a 9-day vacation. How the hell do these guys know what the hell's going on? They're not there. And meanwhile, if you notice what's going on, Trump's talking about reshaping that whole area, get more of these guys into the Abraham Accords. You had Marco Rubio spent most of Memorial Day weekend, if not all of it, in India because they're working on deals. These people, the anti-Trump hate coming from all directions, and it's really boiling down to anti-American hate. This is crazy. There's so much going on, and Iran is only part of it. And I agree, yeah, we got to wrap it up soon, but there's a new Middle East. There's better ties with India. There's China that, we got to box those guys out. There's Russia that lost so much money on Ukraine because Russia thought they would steamroll Ukraine. That didn't happen. That's still going on. Very few people talk about that anymore. This is a golden age of America right now. We could really transform the world. And we're sitting here with these petty, stupid arguments. Makes me shake my head and then some.
Well, you're right. You're right. But you're right. The narrative is written. Whatever happens, whatever deal is made, the Democrats are going to come out and say the Iranians won. It doesn't matter what it's irrelevant what the deal is. Okay. All I'm interested in is they can't make a bomb. We open up the straits. Gas prices go down to $2. That's it. That's what I'm interested in. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens, what the deal is. They've already written every one of their stories is ready to go. Everything you read is ready to go. Everything is negative, ready to go. And this is what they're going to hammer you with. This is why the only thing that matters now, ballots in boxes and maps. That's it. Not interested in anything else. Anything else, a waste of my time. Between now and November, we can talk about ideology going into 28. Right now, there's no ideology, there's no philosophy, there's nothing. It's how many ballots can I get and stuff them in a box? And then how many maps do I have to gain me seats? That's it. Anything else, loser issue. No one cares. That's what we have to focus on. It's cold, it's harsh, it's not fun, it's steely, but it's reality. Right? It's reality. We don't hold the House. Trump gets impeached. Game over. Same old thing. A 2-year TV show. A complete and utter waste of everybody's time. But this is what they're going to do. The Trump derangement syndrome will hit its apex. If we hold the House by 2 votes, they're done. It'll be historic. That's why we got to get up, lace them up, and lace them tight, do everything that we can in order to hold these midterms. And we got a hell of a shot at it. 3 weeks ago, we had 0 shot. Now we have better than 50%. We did that in 3 weeks. Think of what we can do in the next 3 weeks. That's why this South Carolina thing is so huge. Pam Everett coming on today on the Texas gang at 9 o'clock. We got to get this done. We got to get that seat. We got to get all these seats. Don't leave a seat on the table. They didn't in Virginia. Don't leave a seat on the table. Take them all. Take every seat you can. Get out the vote, put them in the boxes, and get them out. And hold our majority. And that's all that matters. Meantime, the Democrats are going to tell you all these seats, Trump plus 20, Democrats are competitive in, Sherrod Brown's going to win Ohio. That's what I was reading over the weekend. Sherrod Brown's going to win Ohio. People are different. Buyer's remorse. Sherrod Brown is not going to win Ohio. Okay? Well, he's not. Well, the people in Maine have to decide, it's not about what Schumer says. Collins is up by 15 points. They're not going to win Maine, but they're going to keep telling you this. Oh, the Senate's in play. Oh, they're going to win North Carolina, maybe. Oh, they're going to hold Georgia, maybe. Where are you going to pick up 4 seats? 3 seats, it's a tie. We still have the majority. Where are you going to pick 4 seats up? Ohio? Nah. Maine? Nah. Where? You might lose New Hampshire. You could lose Georgia. So what are these seats they're picking up? This is all clickbait nonsense. And it's the left going nuts. That's all this is. You mentioned Ted Cruz. We'll get to him in a minute. We're going to go to one in a minute. I got a lot going on here, guys. But first, I got to tell you about my 1775. It's about quality of life. It's quality of life. Like 11 hours of sleep yesterday because I took my REM sleep. I'll get into that in a minute. But I get up today, a little bit late, get to the office. What do I make? Right? While Dan is running clips, I'm brewing my fresh pot of 1775 coffee. Hang on, Dan. Damn, that is some good coffee. Hang on. That first cup, man, it's so good. So good. I encourage everybody, improve the quality of your coffee life. My son is home now. He should cut an ad. He loves 1775, right? Joe's home now. He has to go back during the week. So he goes, takes the Metro to do his rehab and gets back. He gets up, man. Yesterday he got up. We're having a cup of coffee. He takes a sip. He's like, I tell you what, Dad, I got to get this. I got to get this back to Maryland. Like, give me a bunch of boxes. This is the best coffee I've ever had. I'm like, that's what I've been telling you. Quality of life. You know why? Roasted daily. The beans from Bolivia are roasted daily. There's a reason why they're the best. They're roasted daily. Nobody else does that but them. And it's affordable. So go to 1775coffee.com, 1775coffee.com, promo code Godzilla, 10% off. Oh, we got you. Cut one, Ted Cruz and Ben Ferguson piling on Plattner. Roll it. Let's take a listen.
Also, he has some bizarre things. He talks about how women who are raped, it's their fault.
That's it. Okay, well, that's not much there. All right.
Also, he has some bizarre things. He talks about how women who are raped, it's their fault. He attacks African Americans. He says they're cheap and they don't tip. Oddly enough, he also wrote about, this is bizarre fantasies about how every time he sees a porta potty, he wants to go inside the porta potty and masturbate in the porta potty. Look, this is weird. This is not mainstream. This guy is extreme. And you know what Elizabeth Warren says about someone who says all that?
She likes him.
No.
Vote for him. Send money.
Even more. She says, quote, he's my kind of man.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That was her quote from this. Yeah, he's my kind of man. A guy with a Nazi tattoo is a communist who says he likes to do that in a porta potty. There you go.
And understand, look, the Democrats are so extreme. He can attack and mock and insult women. He can attack African Americans. He can attack Jews. He can attack veterans. And they don't care. They all circle the wagons. He's our guy.
That's what the Democrats do. I hope we do that in Texas with Ken Paxton. Because they don't care who it is. If they can give him power, they don't care what he is, what he says, who he is, or what he's going to do. As long as they can get the majority, they don't care. That's why ballots, boxes, maps. This is how you win in 26. Nothing else matters to a hill of beans. Zero. Let's get to Marco Rubio on this deal. Roll it.
To be open. They're going to be open one way or the other. So they need to be open. What's happening there is unlawful. It's illegal. It's unsustainable for the world. It's unacceptable. I don't know of any country in the world that does it. The Russians are not in favor of a tolling system. The Chinese are not in favor of a tolling system. I mean, there's no country in the world that's in favor of a tolling system except the regime in Iran. So that's not acceptable. That cannot happen. The straits need to be open, unimpeded, without tolls, and obviously that needs to happen immediately as soon as anything's agreed to. Well, look, I think our position is well stated. The president had a very important, I think, historic call just a couple days ago with a number of leaders from the region. I think there's strong alignment and agreement on what a preliminary draft should look like. I think that, like anything with something like this, it's going to take a couple days to settle on, even down to the disagreements over a word, sentence. So we'll have to work through that. If there's going to be a deal, we're going to have to work through that. But this is, it's either going to be a good deal or there isn't going to be one.
All right, folks. There's going to be a deal. It's going to be a good deal. All the senators that are piling onto a deal that's not a deal is about the stupidest thing I've ever heard. They don't even know what it is, right? So let's wait and see what happens. First of all, we got bombs are dropping now, so there's no deal. But let's see what it is, and then we can comment, right? Can we at least do that? Unbelievable. You're on the John Fredericks Media Network, trucking the truth across America, right here, live in Washington, D.C. 888-480-JOHN.
Rubio says U.S.-Iran negotiations are ongoing, even as the American military hits Iran again.
The U.S. military says it carried out self-defense strikes in Iran, including on missile launch sites. The attacks on missile launch sites and boats placing mines come even as President Donald Trump said on social media that negotiations were proceeding nicely. Earlier, Trump said any agreement to end the Iran war should include a requirement for several additional countries, including Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, to join the Abraham Accords. That's the U.S. brokered agreements from Trump's first term aimed at normalizing relations with Israel. Further details were not immediately available, including more specifics on the threats from Iran and what this means for negotiations. Haya Panjwani, Washington.
An Israeli airstrike has hit a village in eastern Lebanon. Israel going after Iranian-backed Hezbollah fighters. Lebanese state media says a dozen people were killed. An Israeli security official says the military is calling up more troops for Lebanon. Republican U.S. Senator John Cornyn's facing a challenge from Texas State Attorney General Ken Paxton. Today's GOP primary runoff. Paxton has been endorsed by President Trump. Cornyn is seeking a fifth term in the U.S. Senate. President Trump goes to the doctor today, his annual physical and dental checkup at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. An evacuation order lifted for at least some of the tens of thousands of people who live near a damaged chemical storage tank in Southern California. Authorities say at this point no longer a danger of a massive explosion. The New York Knicks going to the NBA Finals for the first time in 27 years after routing the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland last night, 130-93. Wall Street Dow futures up 262 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Hey, if your loved one is aging but still mobile, still values their independence, there's a simple tool that keeps them safe and keeps you in the know. I am proud to tell you about Safety Plus by Connected Caregiver. Safety Plus is a wearable device that alerts you immediately if your loved one has had a fall. They can wear it as a necklace, on their belt, but there's even a great watch option. There's even a simple push button on the device allowing mom or dad instant access to emergency services. As you age, it's not like you plan for a fall. Suddenly your knee might lock up. There's an uneven surface, wet floor. There's simply no excuse to not wear something discreet that keeps you safe and can keep you at home longer. That's Safety Plus by Connected Caregiver. To see if you qualify for a free device, call 888-870-8020, 888-870-8020, or visit ccgoffer.com, ccgoffer.com. Again, 888-870-8020. With Connected Caregiver, peace of mind is just a phone call away.
They abandoned their homeland to marry up with ISIS, and now they're being allowed to go back home.
The Australian government has confirmed 7 women and 12 children linked to the Islamic State group were heading home on Qatar Airways flights, less than 3 weeks after a group of 13 people in similar conditions returned to Australia's 2 largest cities. 2 women with 7 children have flown to Melbourne. 4 women with 6 children landed about an hour later in Sydney, news media reports. It was not immediately apparent if any arrests were made at the airport. Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke says anyone among the 19 on their way to Australia who's committed crimes can expect to face the full force of the law. I'm Charles Dilladesma.
Search operation for 7 villagers trapped inside a flooded cave in central Laos has entered its 7th day. Rescuers encounter tough terrain and weather in their bid to reach the group. News and analysis at townhall.com. For these high school grads, you might say that farming is in their blood.
Seniors at a Michigan high school arrived at their graduation ceremony driving tractors. It was all part of Tractor Day, a celebration at Airport High that dates back to the 1980s. Most of the students arrived by 7:30 a.m. and the fun continued throughout the day with games and music. And while it is fun, it also honors the area's agricultural heritage. Jason Walker reporting.
Democrats are increasingly critiquing each other over their personal stock trades in primary races around the country. Democrats are questioning individual trades and the personal wealth of their rivals in a bid to build credibility with the voters. Polls show that the public takes a rather dim view of insider trading in D.C. and supports more guardrails against corruption. More on these stories, townhall.com.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cell's Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging calcium alpha-ketoglutarate, which has been clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you My Pillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our My Pillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our My Pillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door, absolutely free.
Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code GODZILLA to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
Ponder this. Imagine for a moment that you are lying on your deathbed. This is a great exercise to do each day in preparation for your very last day on earth. Think about the tests you've ever taken, the job interviews you've had, and the many life celebrations you've been a part of. In all of these cases, preparation makes for successful outcomes. The same is true for dying. We must prepare every day for the day we are to die, in case today might be our last. Make sure you are right with the Lord first and foremost. If you are a Catholic, make sure you are in the state of grace by receiving the sacrament of confession often. Next, make sure you are right with your family, friends, and all those who are in your world. Apologize to those who have offended you and mend relationships that need healing. Make each day a preparation for your last day on earth, because it just may be. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out. Because it matters.
He's your Godzilla of the truth in America. No gibberish or nonsense, just common sense. And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Ballots and boxes and maps. That's all I care about. Ballots and boxes and maps. Hey, Dan, there's a nice montage for us to make, right? Wasn't there Wizard of Oz, right? We can take that right off the Wizard of Oz song. I know, Dan, you're a music creator. Dan, of course, that don't know Dan Hobgood, he's our executive morning producer, and he does his own music on AI type of thing. He did the intros here to the show, so they're not copyrighted. So, right? Remember the Wizard of Oz song as they're going down the yellow brick road, right? Ballots and boxes maps.
Okay, yeah.
Maps.
Yeah.
You can create that, right?
Let me see what I can do. Yeah.
I know you got your creative juices are going.
Yeah. Oscar winner, 1939 for best score, Herbert Strothart.
Yeah.
Beat Max Steiner for Gone with the Wind.
Ballots.
Is that impressive that I know that I could tell you that? Something from 1939?
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was somewhere in the 30s, The Wizard of Oz. Yes.
The great year in movie history. I think it was like
Gone with the
almost
Wind and The Wizard of Oz, two of the probably greatest movies ever made, all in the same time.
Hundreds of movies came out in 1939. It was considered sort of like the biggest movie year ever for Hollywood. So, yeah. Big year in 1939.
Change is coming.
That's right.
Change is coming, baby. Speaking about change, healthcare is always an issue in this country. People are always trying to find, a healthcare opportunity. And I tell you what, I got a great one here. My good friend Barry Draper has really expanded his healthcare companies in West Virginia now. And of course, the West Virginia Mountaineers, they're hosting a regional tournament, the first time in a long time. That city, Dan, I tell you, I know he grew up in Pittsburgh. That Morgantown is going to go berserk. This 3 days there, we're going to be there with the bus. Thursday night, we're getting there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Going to do our show there from Saturday and probably Monday, depending on what goes on. That thing is going to be rocking. I mean, the excitement that's going to go through Morgantown, West Virginia, we're going to be right there in the middle of it. We're going to have pregame shows an hour before each of the games that we're going to have. The bus is going to be there. We got to wrap with WVU. That place is going to go nuts, Dan. You've never seen anything like Morgantown when it has a home regional. And they sold the stadium out in 3 hours. Of course, I got all my tickets because I'm a season ticket holder, so you get first dibs on it. But they sold the whole thing out in 3 hours. Done. You can't get a ticket to this home regional. Now, are they going to host the super regionals? Unlikely, because it's a 16 seed. Even if they win, which I think they will, they've got to go to play the number 1 seed, which is 100% going to be UCLA, which is like a minor league team. That's one of the best teams of baseball, college baseball ever. So there's very little chance of them getting the super regionals at home. They'd have to, beat UCLA, which is just not likely. But then other teams would have to lose because the top 8 go, and they're the 16th seed. So very unlikely. But they are at home starting on Friday. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Kentucky, Binghamton, and Wake Forest in that regional double elimination. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So I tell you what, a lot of things going on in the Mountaineer State. This message from Barry Draper in Mountaineer Healthcare. If you're tired of getting hammered by outrageous healthcare costs, folks, listen up. Mountaineer Healthcare from the Smart Health Company, well, they're helping families, individuals, and businesses get quality healthcare coverage without getting destroyed financially. This is the key. Now, you get complete and comprehensive coverage, including, check this out, hospitalization, surgery, and critical illness protection. You also get access to a nationwide PPO network with low $15 visit copays. If you need quick care, boom, unlimited free telemedicine is included. Need prescriptions? They got that too. They got fully tiered prescription drug plans too. Whether you need an individual plan for yourself or group coverage for your company, Mountaineer Healthcare has flexible options designed to save you some serious money. And here's the kicker. Rates can be 30 to 40% lower than unsubsidized marketplace plans or traditional group coverage. That's real savings for working Americans. Call now, 833-752-6742, 833-752-6742, or visit mountaineerhealthplan.com. That's mountaineerhealthplan.com. From Barry Draper, Mountaineer Healthcare, the smart health company. Smart coverage, real savings, and peace of mind. Truth, clarity, real healthcare savings. Absolutely fantastic. Check these guys out. They know what they're doing. 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. Let's bring in Todd Sheets. Todd Sheets, our resident economic guru. And when gas prices are $2 a gallon, I don't know what the Democrats are going to say, but we got a new theme song. Ballots and boxes and maps. That's all we care about, Todd. But let's get first to AI. By the way, I went to church on Saturday night. I go to St. Anne's in D.C. in Tenleytown. That's our church, great Catholic church, beautiful. We had a beautiful mass on Saturday night. Ann and I and Joe went to the 5 p.m. mass. That's where we go. And in the final hymn on Memorial Day, like if you're Catholic, you have hymns, right? So we have 3 of them. Our final hymn, our priest made and had us sing and had it in a little thing so everybody could remember the words, had us sing America the Beautiful. I thought that was such a beautiful touch for St. Anne's, my Catholic church. Like instead of the 3rd hymn, we all sang America the Beautiful to commemorate Memorial Day. I mean, I just thought that was so nice. And our priest, really good guy. I mean, he really understands where his church fits into to DC and the culture. And so we love St. Anne's. So thank you to my priest for that. It was like up there, we're going to sing this. It was so nice. Anyway, I just figured I'd throw that out there. Let's get Todd to our Pope. Pope talking about AI. We'll start with the CNN version of it. Let's go to cut 4. Pope Leo, he's concerned about AI and the future it's going to have on civilization, I guess. Roll it.
How extraordinary is this moment? It is true that this Pope follows by about 135 years his predecessor Pope, Leo XIII, talking about the dangers to humanity of the great social change that came from the Industrial Revolution. How does this stack up?
Well, first of all, it's not around 135 years. It's exactly the anniversary was the day that he signed it. So it was very deliberately on the anniversary. And I think what is very remarkable is that Pope Leo XIII issued his call for the protection of human dignity without real dialogue with those who were imperiling that dignity. Whereas this time, Pope Leo is issuing the warnings in dialogue with those who are responsible for AI. I think this is an extraordinary step forward.
And it absolutely has, gripped everybody's imagination. We'll ask you both about the whole, rollout with Anthropic. But let me ask you, Anna Rowlands, the Pope called on artificial intelligence to be disarmed. Can you tell me what that means?
Yes, so this is a kind of key phrase that runs through the whole of the document. Pope Leo feels that we're in a moment, I think, where human beings are beginning to indulge in the idea that we're fundamentally violent or conflictual by nature, rather than creatures who seek peace and seek to live in unity, ideally with others. And he's worried that we're kind of swallowing that storyline. And he thinks that when you begin to imagine the world in that way and think of human society and human relationships through a fundamental lens of violence and conflict, what happens is you begin almost an arms race, and that's with your words, that's with your politics, politics, and that also, in a very literal way, drives the conflict between nations. So he wants to move from what he calls a culture of power, in which, in effect, he thinks we are violent and polarized, to one which is focused on a civilization of love. And the only way you get there is to disarm in all senses of the word.
Okay, Todd, I love bringing you in. I know you're our economic guru, but I love bringing you in the culture wars. So I kind of got here what Pope Leo was doing. I kind of understood it. I've got some other clips on it, but what was your take of that? And give us your assessment of AI right now. I mean, when tech executives go in to make a commencement speech, they get roundly heckled off the stage when they talk about AI with our college kids coming out. Go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, so a couple of things. I was actually just thinking about some of these things this morning as well. She made this comment, this parallel between this recent pronouncement from the Pope and the one that came out, during the Industrial Revolution, and the threat that made to society and the dehumanizing aspects. And I think that for all the good that the church has done, and that the Pope has done, they have a deep misunderstanding of how economic forces really work for good or for evil in the world. And the fact of the matter is, as we've talked about before, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the Industrial Revolution because I think it's an important and apt parallel for what we're going through today. Basically what happened is we went through roughly 1,000 years of no economic growth in the world. And if we look at the period from 1500 to 1820, the world GDP grew by 0.3% per year. Then what happened with the Enlightenment, the creation of Western values, which were most dramatically and thoroughly reflected in the American form of government and capitalism, which is what I call limited government capitalism. So after the Great Depression, we had growing government capitalism, which was better than socialism and communism, but not as good as limited government capitalism. Under limited government capitalism, we basically grew 4% per year. Now, I want to take just a second. I don't want to dump too many numbers on people because this can be, especially when it's all verbal, a little disorienting. But I just put this out in Substack. Let's imagine a family with $100,000 of annual income. And their income is growing at the pre-American capitalism rate of 0.3%. And this goes on for about 4 generations or 100 years. So after 100 years, and I ran this a couple of different ways, but basically their income, I might have it slightly off, is like $135,000. So this is the pre-capitalism growth rate. Okay, 100,000 at the beginning, 4 generations later, 135,000. Now, capitalism comes into play, American-style capitalism, which unleashes the Industrial Revolution, which is what they were referring to. Okay, what happens? We grow 4% a year. What's the difference between two families growing at these two growth rates? In the second case, if you grow 4% a year for the same period of time, instead of 135,000, you're generating $5 million a year of annual income. So the difference is roughly 5 million. Okay, so you can say, oh, these are just numbers, whatever. Now just step back for a second. Which of those two families, lives in a safer and more secure neighborhood? Which of those two families has better access to medical care and education for the children? Which of those two families has more leisure time to spend with friends and family? Which one has more opportunities to go out and enjoy the arts and the entertainment, or even to let people within the family pursue careers within those fields? And finally, which gets to where the Pope misunderstands things on economics. Now, that's the only thing I'm talking about. Which of those two families has more money to help the less fortunate among them? The one with $5 million of annual income or the one with $135,000? It's abundantly clear. And this is what capitalism and the Industrial Revolution did for the world. This is why until that period of time, there was effectively no middle class. But after all of this happened, we had this enormous middle class. The middle class isn't just like some economic concept conjured out of thin air. This is hundreds of millions of people who have been in the lower class before, who for the first time in history are lifted up into a life of different possibilities. And that's what really happened during the Industrial Revolution. Now, what we got was when the 1900s came, the 20th century, instead of the story that I just told, what we got was the striking back from the political class. The political class had been pushed out of their traditional ability of controlling the economy and economic outcomes by capitalism, which basically put the control of the economy in the hands of consumers who were spending their money and entrepreneurs who were figuring out how to give them the best deal. The people that were displaced were politicians and their advisors. And so what happens, we get to the turn of the century is we have the so-called progressive movement, which is designed to fight back against not the story that I just told, but the narrative that they created, which was one of repression and exploitation. And unfortunately, I think that's the way that the Vatican tends to see these things. That narrative has become so deeply ingrained in the educational system, in our history books, in our culture, in our media, that even many of the billionaires today, if you get on certain topics, not all of them, but they will talk as if those assumptions are accurate. Those assumptions are completely inaccurate. And so this is one of the things that we have to change. And by the way, we don't need economic statistics to know that all of this is true. Okay? So we could, ideally, somebody might say, oh, it's too bad we can't conduct the people who are being affected. It's too bad we can't conduct a poll of the working class people in the midst of the Industrial Revolution to know how they really felt. So we didn't have to listen to me or the progressive try and tell you how they felt. Well, the fact is, we can do even better. We don't have to ask them what their opinion is, which is subject to how the questions are asked. We can track their footsteps. And if what I just said wasn't accurate, then all the people domestically who moved from the farms to the cities to work in the factories, and all the millions and millions of people who moved from overseas to come work in those factories, they would have packed up their bags and gone home. But they stayed for generation after generation after generation. And their dream wasn't, oh my God, how can I pack my bags and get away from this exploitation? Their dream was, how can I make enough money to bring my family and my relatives over to join me? And so that's how we know what really happened. I believe with artificial intelligence, we are going to go through something like what happened with the Industrial Revolution, potentially even bigger in terms of the impact that it will have in lifting up society. And there will be negative things. We learned how to do things like make bombs and make military infrastructure that was much more devastating than existed before the Industrial Revolution. And we have to learn to deal with it. But on balance, that the positives are going to be so overwhelming that this is going to be something that, again, lifts an enormous part of society up to a much better standard of living than what we had before.
So what was the Vatican's, at the end of the day, I get what you're saying, because this all really goes back to Karl Marx, who was the first one to come out with a Communist Manifesto and basically saying, look, labor is exploited. It's the number one resource, and capitalism is successful only because of the exploitation of labor, right?
Yes.
So, and he came, and that was the whole, like, you're repressed, you're taken advantage of, workers of the world unite, the whole bit, for labor. But if you get to AI, I think what you're saying is what the Vatican's position is that there's going to be change. But I don't really get where they're going with this. Like, where was Leo going with this? Like, we shouldn't do it. Well, can't stop progress. Where was he going with this?
No, I think where he's going is there is this huge debate out there right now. And part of it is coming from a company called Anthropic, which is one of the leading AI companies. They're mostly focused on the business sector and providing coding tools to businesses and that kind of thing. But the debate is should government step in and contain or control the development of AI to make it supposedly safer? And, Amadei is a big Democrat. They were making strong inroads with the Biden administration, who was going down this path of trying to create, a government regulatory model that would have to oversee and approve all of these models as they develop and constrain them so that they would only do good in the world, is supposedly. This is so false that you have to shake your head, because no matter what we try and do from that side, we're not going to stop China from trying to win the AI race. We're not going to stop hackers in Russia from trying to win the AI race. The question is, are we going to win it? And are we going to set the world standards, or is somebody else going to do it? And for us to win it, we have to be willing to take some of these risks, because other people are going to take these risks, because the upside economically and militarily is so enormous that nobody else is going to try and contain this kind of thing. It's going to break out no matter what we do. And so the best thing for us to do is to let our competitive system drive the whole thing forward, just like we've done with every other technological revolution, whether it was the internet revolution.
Todd, I got to go to break.
Yeah.
Hold that thought. I'm going to bring Faf in, but hold that thought, okay? Hold that thought, because we got to figure out where we're going with this, and I'm with you 100%. I'll be right back.
Without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cell's Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are a $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your sat phone. Call now.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's gonna ship absolutely free.
To take advantage of the second annual mega sale, go to mypillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla.
Ponder this. We intake oxygen every time we breathe, and breathing is how we stay alive. When God first created man, he breathed life into him. Our Lord also breathed spiritual life into his apostles and filled them with the Holy Spirit at the first Pentecost. Oxygen is a source of life both physically and spiritually. It's the same with fire. Oxygen is needed in order to keep a fire burning, which begs the question, are you on fire for the Lord, or has your spiritual oxygen been extinguished? To answer this, we must go to the source. The source of our spiritual oxygen is the Lord himself. Without him, there is no life within us. Those are his words, not mine. We are called to tap into this life source by baptism, daily prayer, and receiving the sacraments, especially Holy Communion if you are a Catholic, in the state of grace. If we tap into this life source every day, our lives will be filled with the love of the Lord, our spiritual oxygen. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
What are we, 10-0?
You are 10-0 for the first time in program history, Coach.
Not bad. There's a lot of skeptics. There's a lot of doubters. I get it, right? Haven't beat a top 25 team. Nebraska's 25th in the coach poll. We beat their 56-7.
How are we not right now seated for a home game?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
126 years of Indiana football. Best season in Indiana history. Number 1 out of 126.
We got our way of doing things, and, we kick ass and take names.
We figured we'd just adopt SEC scheduling philosophy. Some people don't like it. I'm more focused in on those 9 conference games.
We had to wake some people up and create some excitement, and after all, this is the entertainment business, too. We don't just beat top 25 teams, we beat the shit out of them. Oh. I know you guys have been waiting for me to say something crazy. That wasn't quite crazy.
Don't touch that dial. You found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Oh, you're back on the John Fredericks Media Network. Great to have you. We got Todd Cheese. We got Jim Pfaff coming up. But I tell you what, got a lot of viruses out there. You don't know what's going on with this crazy cruise ship and people dying and rats spreading diseases. It's crazy. You got to be sure if a virus strikes, if anything happens to you, that you at your fingertips have your medical emergency kit for you and your family. This is the most important investment that you can make now. We got the bus going out to Morgantown on Thursday. I got one in the bus for me and Larry, my team there. Anything happens, got one here at the office, got one at home, always travel with it. Joe's got one at Maryland. Why? Because you never know when something happens. You don't have time to go to a doc in a box, wait 5 hours, go to the emergency room, get there Tuesday at 3. They see you at midnight. They got 200 illegals in there. That's how they get treated for a cold. You've got to get your medical emergency kit because it's at your fingertips. It's a guidebook. It's going to tell you exactly what it is. So many times, Ann and I and Joe have gone to this, and that's why we never get sick. We're always healthy. We feel something coming on. Got your ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, Z-Pak, antibiotics. It's all here at your fingertips. Every family should have one, and always travel with it. If you're going out of town, the first thing you want to pack in your bag is your medical emergency kit. Now, this is affordable. It'll save you a ton of money. It'll save you being sick. It'll save you discomfort. it could save a lot of other things. All you have to do is go to twc.health/Godzilla, twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla is going to get you 10% off. Order it today. Now you'll consult with a doctor online because these are all prescription medications. But you really need to have one of these for you and your family because you don't need it until you need it. And then you don't have it. And then it takes days to get it. So you want to get it now so that you have it. Just go to twc.health/Godzilla, promo code Godzilla, 10% off. Get your medical emergency kit today. Okay, let's bring Todd Sheets back. Todd Sheets, you can follow him on Substack, I'm sorry. Our resident economic guru is with us. We're also going to bring in Jim Pfaff in a 3-box. Jim, happy Memorial Day. Great to have you with us. Jim with the Conservative Caucus. Jim, you've got an echo there. You're going to have to fix that. I don't know what it is. Oh, better. Okay, good. Okay, we got Jim and Todd. Todd, I want you to finish your thoughts here on AI. The President Trump, not in favor of restrictions for just what you said, because we're ahead now in AI, and he fears that over-regulating it will then give foreign countries, Russia, China, an advantage to get ahead of us. And you basically, Todd, as I understand it, take that position.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think it's critical. This is like the next realm of the Industrial Revolution with all of the attendant positives that came with that. The negatives, there were some negatives. Those have been overplayed in the traditional narratives that we've heard about it for the reasons that we talked about earlier. This will have the biggest implications for the economy and for military purposes of anything since then. And it's absolutely critical we stay in the lead. If we try and erect a bunch of well-meaning barriers, all we will do is constrain ourselves at the expense of others who aren't so constrained, most importantly, China, who's maybe 6 months to a year behind us right now, and we'll give them a chance to leapfrog us and get into the power position, both militarily, which would be disastrous, and economically, which would be disastrous. If they're the ones that are creating the technology stack, is what people call it, that spreads, and everybody around the world is building their AI systems off of a China-based model, that would just have incredibly bad repercussions for us. So we have to be careful, but there's a lot of checks and balances inherently in place within the capitalist system that government doesn't need to step in and try and, overstep.
Todd, 2 things, and then I'll get to Pfaff. So the first is an enormous amount of money is being invested in these AI companies. Enormous. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. And I look at some of them, and I want you to blow my theory up here.
Okay.
I just want you to blow it up. Blow up my hypothesis. I look at this, and I'm thinking, how are they ever going to get a return on this investment? Ever. And it almost reminds me of the 2000 dot-com boom and bust, where if you had a company that didn't make any money and you simply put .com and reincorporated by its name, you were getting money. And none of these companies were ever profitable, and that's why the whole thing collapsed until finally they figured out how to do that. Perfect example. There was like toys.com, right? Never figured out how to make money. Disney invested, I think, $25 million in them. 12 months later, they shut it down and went belly up. All that money was lost. That's just one example of thousands. Why is my hypothesis here off?
Yeah, well, it's a good analogy, and it's an important analogy for us to be aware of. Toys.com was one. Pets.com was another. Like somehow you're going to get your pet taken care of over the internet and that kind of thing. The huge difference here, there's 2 of them. One that's been there from the beginning and one that we've started to see this year. The first big difference was an enormous amount of the funding that is happening this time is occurring out of existing revenue streams from large companies like a Google or a Facebook, or Meta is their name right now. So they're investing recurring earnings from an existing business into this to develop that, as opposed to either borrowing too heavily, which they're doing some borrowing now to build out the data centers, or being dependent on being able to do a Wall Street IPO or fundraising to get the cash to fund all this. That's incredibly important, because if you're dependent on debt, that's going to go away at some point. And if the markets collapse, Wall Street goes away at some point, and then it all goes away, which is what ultimately happened with a lot of those companies. But if you're funding it out of an existing business, then you have recurring cash flows. If you have to cut back, you can. So that's the big difference from the beginning. And not true with all of them. There are some that are dependent on it, and they're starting to come to market now. That would be ChatGPT, and OpenAI, and Anthropic. So this was the big debate that was then still in place. This is the second thing that I mentioned, was, okay, is this going to show up in the revenues? Is this going to show up in the earnings? If you're Google and Facebook, can you show a way that it is enhancing your ability to earn money, or are you just throwing money down a rat hole and you're going to have to cut this whole thing off? And if you're one of these new AI startups that's funding it, out of the capital markets, like we were talking about, are you ever going to make any money? And what we've seen this year is the proof of the pudding is out there. Google and Meta basically are advertising businesses. And what we've seen is a dramatic acceleration in the growth rate of their advertising revenues. That tells us that their AI spending is already making their products better, probably less expensive and more effective, which is expanding the advertising market. So they're getting a return on the investment. And then Anthropic has actually gone through the most rapid escalation in revenues in history. And so what we've seen in the last 5 months is, yes, the proof of this, that there is real demand out there for what these companies are investing in, is coming back through this market test of, are there any revenues associated with that? So those are the big differences between what's happening now and what happened in the internet.
Let's bring Jim Pfaff in. Fascinating conversation. Jim, the president and CEO of the Conservative Caucus in America, based there in Washington, D.C. with me. Jim, a lot of talk about AI. That's what this segment is focused on. A lot of fear about jobs, kids coming out of college. They have a tech executive come and address them. They get heckled off the stage. A lot of our young people wringing their hands over it. From a conservative viewpoint, what is your position on AI guardrails going forward?
Well, I'm not fearless, but I have a lot less of the fear that has been projected out there. The only concern, and Todd has laid some of this out pretty well, is the economics of emerging markets can be very disruptive and very difficult to navigate for the average person in two ways. First of all, you're investing in it, so where does my money go? And the dot-com bubble was a good example of that. But also, you're trying to learn it and figure out what's going on. And as you're hearing so-called experts and some very real experts talking about it, it's hard to navigate that as well, particularly in the information age that we're in right now, because there's a lot of FUD out there. There's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt being laid out there. By the way, one of the biggest sources of that is Dario Amodei, the head of Anthropic. But as anyone that listens to the All In podcast knows, that those guys are saying that that's very possibly a marketing thing. I think Elon markets AI as well by kind of throwing out a little bit of FUD towards it. This dystopian, are we going down the Terminator path? Now, there are some very real issues related to AI. I'm not sitting around very much in fear of this because, at least at present, we've got the right sort of team of people doing things. Even Dario Amodei, by the way, I'm using AI all day long. We are utilizing it to help us understand information more. I've got my staff utilizing it to make sure that they get a quicker push forward on the research that they're doing for the information that we're putting out. I tell them not to rely on AI. I just built out myself, because I'm kind of a tech geek, I built out an entire CRM system, research system that we're utilizing in our organization that we never had before. And I probably saved $250,000 literally on this. And so there are some very real advantages that even the average user can have. Like, I don't have to, type out Python code all day. It'd taken me 2 years to get done what I'm doing. And I heard an interesting discussion that Mark Andreessen had said just the other day, where he was talking about the fact people are saying, yeah, well, everyone's going to lose their white collar jobs, and there is definitely going to be some white collar job disruption. But like he was saying, actually guys are working more. David Sachs just recently showed a listing of engineer job postings that are rising like crazy, because it's not just that the AI could code, and it does a pretty good job, although there's a lot of junk code that gets thrown in all of this. They are actually, it's making people so productive that not only are they working their job and getting a whole lot more done, there are going to be trillions, gazillions of lines of code coming out of all this, but they're more productive during the day, and they're spending all their time staying up so that they're really tired at night because they're doing their side projects that they wanted to do. I just built an online weather station for myself so that I can monitor my home when I'm not at it. And I did that briefly. I've kind of tweaked it since. So the point I'm trying to make is this. There are definitely concerns that go with this, because you've got China, which is largely, they want to make money off of it, but they also have nefarious things that they want to undertake with it. We do have some opposition with our own government approaches to AI to counter that. But then, and this is where the fear comes for me, we also have a potential Joe Biden coming back in the White House to radically take all this over. You mentioned Todd Dario Amodei and his connection to the Biden administration. Mark Andreessen was in those meetings too. And this is the reason he supported Donald Trump, because he said, they were totally going to shut it all down, and they were absolutely going to censor people, monitor people. When you have the government taking this over, as opposed to keeping this growing in the free market, that's a greater danger than any other danger that's there. We can manage a lot of things in the culture and in business if it's left to the free market. We can't manage those things, as we already have seen in the Biden administration, if the government is controlling it all. So to me, that's the real linchpin. But you've also got the use of AI potentially for surveillance, just because of some of the government stuff that's there already. And so I think we've got concerns that we need to address. The economics of it, though, I think, in my opinion, is going to play out positively in the long run with some major bumps moving forward.
Todd, I keep asking people who say, oh my God, AI is going to cost us, I had somebody on that projected that half of American jobs would go away, which I thought was, an asinine prediction. But I keep asking people, like in my company, I'm actually +1. So AI is I've actually added a job. So we're +1. But I keep asking people, well, what job do you have that's going to go away? And I've yet to get anybody to say one. Like, what is this fear of this taking over the job market?
Yeah, I think it's a fear of change. And it's especially a fear of change when we're at the stage of development where the technology is being developed. We're hearing a lot of things about it, but we're not yet seeing it flow in and really impact our lives in a positive way and creating all the new jobs that it's going to create. And then we've also got, and this is why I think we hear some of what Eric Schmidt heard at Arizona, which I think was what you were referring to, where the students started jeering him. We have one generation of students who were caught in an unfortunate point. I think if you get kids coming out of these schools with a significant amount of AI training, there are going to be people falling all over themselves to hire them because, as one person put it, instead of being somebody who's going out to dig a hole with a shovel, AI-enabled people are going to be like people who are going out to dig a digital hole with a bulldozer. But we've had a group of kids that went through school just as this was starting to happen. They didn't get trained in it, and so they're coming out with old skills in a new job market. But as we change that system around, then the kids coming out with the new skills in the new job market, there's going to be enormous demand for their skills and that kind of thing. So, I think that's all a part of it. And I think I just want to put one more point in here. There are enormous protections without government regulation in the private market system. Every company developing AI products has to make sure that those products make the lives of their customers better than they would have been if they hadn't bought those products. So if they create a company like Google, decades in the making, one of the most valuable companies in the world, one of the highest levels of revenue in the world, if they put products into the marketplace that start malfunctioning for either consumers or business users, and the business starts incorporating those products into its technology base, and it starts screwing up the interactions with its customers, everybody will drop Google or any other company that makes this mistake. This is the inherent regulation of the capitalist system. And it comes from the consumers who can stop buying a product like that if they don't create a product that is safe and makes their lives better or their businesses better. And so these are the things that we should be relying on. These are the reasons why I'm optimistic that ultimately, these are products being made by humans for human consumption. That's where the money to fund it is coming from. It's coming from people like us in our businesses or our everyday life that are sending a monthly check to whichever company you're working with, because it makes your life or your business better. And if it doesn't, you cut off the check, the company goes out of business, and a competitor has to do a better job at it.
Jim, I'll give you the final word here. Jim Fab.
One thing I think that people need to be aware of that is going on here, just to bolster or to add to Todd's point here, China's scared to death that we do this well. And you want to know one reason why I know this? Everyone should look up a recent video. I think he did it yesterday or a couple days ago that Kevin O'Leary did. Kevin O'Leary is trying to invest in this big Utah data center that's had such an uproar around it. And you have got demonstrators, not just in Utah, but elsewhere, that are trying to stop these things from being built because supposedly it's going to make your electricity go crazy, electricity costs. Well, what's really interesting is when you look at who's funding these demonstrations, it's literally the CCP. It goes through this same Neville Singham that was funding the riots in LA, that has been funding No Kings protests. And you've got the Socialist Party in America that he funds that is coordinating and organizing all this. Why is that important? It's important because China knows they're going to lose out on this. They know that they can't keep up with what we're doing. Any technology that they have, mostly they've stolen from us. They've got some smart people, but they just are nowhere near us in the way of doing this kind of development, and it puts them economically in harm. They actually are more concerned about the economic harm of not being able to catch up, which is why they want to stop us, than they are about whether they can use it nefariously, which certainly they want to do. But this also brings up one other point. You know who possibly the biggest winner in all this is? It's not the AI models that you build. I mean, that's important, and it's really critical to this process. The people that are going to win are the data center people, and that means Elon Musk is going to win. Do you know, right now, you've got Anthropic paying, I think, $5 billion a month to Elon Musk so that they can run their models on Elon's data center. That's where the money is going to be on this, is the compute, because it's relying on it. So anyway, this is why China wants to tear it down. But the hope is, what this all means is that we're winning this. And I think it's actually very positive for the future after definitely some disruption that we have to work through.
All right, guys, we got to go. Todd Sheets, easy. Just get Todd Sheets. That's 2 E's on Substack. Jim Pfaff, people want to follow you. Where do they go?
TheConservativeCaucus.com.
Jim, I'll see you in a couple of weeks at my big victory party, June 16th. You and Myra, we're going to be right back during the John Fredericks Media Network.
WJFN W224EB 92.7 FM Chester, W299DB 107.7 Barnaire, 100.5 FM Goochland, and WJFB Portsmouth AM 1650.
From Town Hall, I'm Rich Thomason. Secretary of State Rubio says there are details yet to be ironed out in talks with Iran.
Speaking from India, Rubio says the sides are working on an outline.
Suffice it to say that some progress has been made, significant progress, although not final progress has been made.
Regional officials say the deal would gradually reopen the Strait of Hormuz and see the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports end. Iran would give up its stockpile of highly enriched uranium. At Arlington National Cemetery, President Trump mentioned those who were killed fighting Iran.
We lost 13 wonderful souls, wonderful, special people.
The president said there could be no 4th of July without America's armed forces, and there could be no Independence Day without Memorial Day. Ed Donahue, Washington.
And U.S. forces launched a new series of strikes on Iranian military targets. An evacuation order lifted for some of those evacuated from their homes near a chemical storage tank that was in danger of exploding in Southern California.
It's not over yet. We still have work to do.
Orange County Fire Chief Craig Covey.
There's 2 things that we're going to be still doing an operation on. Number 1, we still have to mitigate a fire and very small explosion concern, and also a spill potential.
President Trump's endorsement has carried a good deal of weight in recent GOP primaries. Today we'll see how things go in Texas, where incumbent U.S. Senator John Cornyn is facing a runoff against Trump-endorsed Ken Paxton. The winner will face Democrat James Tallarico in the general election. From Texas to Georgia to the Carolinas, forecasters say flash flooding is possible today. Much of the South swamped by torrential rains. And 4 people are dead after a train collided with a school bus in northern Belgium. On Wall Street, Dow futures 308 points higher. NASDAQ futures up 309. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a super fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. But wait, there's more. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be switching to an American wireless company that's committed to keeping 100% of its customer service in this country. I appreciate that. In fact, that's why I switched. I also appreciate the way they support our vets and our skilled workforce. Dial pound 250, say micro, and get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. That's pound 250 micro. Stop paying twice what you need to pay for the service you want and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Rescuers in Thailand are racing the clock to reach 7 people trapped in a cave by flooding.
They're hoping that they can just keep pushing away to reach what they expect would be an upper chamber that may be above the water level, where they assume these people would have gone for safety, but they won't know. They don't even know if they're alive yet until they reach them. And when you look at the images of the conditions they're working in, they're extremely rough. Tiny cavities they're going into, divers coming out completely covered in mud. They're trying to pump water out, but they're up against these very torrential rains at the moment. So it's an ongoing rescue effort, but at this stage, very unclear what the outcome will be.
That's the BBC's Jonathan Head. Firefighters have been battling wildfires in Scotland, and several drowning deaths have been reported as a spring heat wave scorches parts of Western Europe. Temperature records have toppled in the UK, London experiencing a rare tropical night when the temperature remained above 68 degrees. News and analysis, townhall.com. A Dominican baseball star convicted of abusing a minor.
Tampa Bay Rays shortstop Wander Franco has been found criminally responsible for the sexual and psychological abuse of a minor by a judge in the Dominican Republic, but he will not serve a sentence. Franco was arrested in 2024, accused of having a relationship with a 14-year-old girl, during which time he paid the girl's mother thousands of dollars. The mother was found guilty of sex trafficking and sentenced 10 years. The judge says he took into consideration that Franco was a victim of extortion, so he was given a judicial pardon. It's not clear what will happen to his major league career. The Rays placed him on the restricted list, which means he hasn't been getting paid. His full sentencing is set for June 16th. I'm Jennifer King.
European Union officials say Europeans can expect oil and gas prices to remain above what they were before the Iran war for at least until the end of 2027. Prices for other goods also following an upward trajectory. More on these stories, townhall.com.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking, free. General admission, free. Memories, priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Trouble getting to sleep and staying asleep is infuriating. Your mind races, you toss and turn. Nutrition company Healthy Cell created REM sleep to help you quickly fall asleep, stay asleep, and sleep deep. Unlike other supplements that don't work, REM sleep is not a pill. It's a gel you swallow with ultra-absorption of science-backed ingredients supporting all 4 stages of sleep. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order. Risk-free. Love it or your money back. Guaranteed. Healthycell.com. Code Godzilla.
Folks, this is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. I have recently turned 77 years old. I do not take prescription drugs. I have not had to take prescription drugs, and I attribute a lot of my good health to a product that I've been taking, which is the active ingredient in Sol Tea. It's a 22% concentration of theaflavin. We did clinical trials on it 25 years ago and found that it helped lower cholesterol. We have had many, many hundreds of letters and emails from customers telling us how it has helped them not only manage their cholesterol, but lower their triglycerides and help them on their blood pressure. And I can't tell you how much I attribute to Sol Tea for my good health at age 77. And I encourage you to go to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. And use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% off on your initial shipment of Sol Tea. And I promise you it will be a great help for your heart health. Thanks so much.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you will destroy your life. Listen to The Flatline with your host, Rick Hughes, every Sunday morning on the John Fredericks Radio Network. The Flatline describes a main line of resistance in your soul, built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday morning for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education, all without manipulation. That's The Flatline with Rick Hughes, heard here every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on the John Fredericks Radio Network.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who is 6 months to a year ahead of everybody but God himself, John Fredericks.
Well, thank you for that nice intro, Dan. I really love it. It's really cool. Good stuff. Can't wait till you get your song going from the Wizard of Oz. Ballots, boxes, and maps. Ballots, boxes, and maps. That's all we're talking about. That's all we care about. Get ballots, put them in a box, and get maps. That's it. That's what I want. That's how we win. That's how we keep power. That's why we need this seat in South Carolina. We got Pam Evans going to be coming up with the Texas Truth Line at the 9 o'clock hour, plus your calls, 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. And what am I missing here? We're waiting for Congressman Dan Muser. We've got Jim Derriman is coming on in the RNC Chairman's Corner from Maine. So we're looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But we also want you to weigh in, 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. This segment is brought to you by the Reform Action Fund. This is one of the most important pieces of legislation that we've got going on in Congress right now. Actually, there's two of them, but this to me is top priority, which is the Safer Supervision Act. We've got everything is stalled in the Senate. It's very annoying. We got to get this through the Senate because it's going to sail through the House, but we got to get it through the Senate. It's in markup now. Got to get it out of committee. Got to vote on it. What the Safer Supervision Act is, and I want everybody to get behind this. It gives parole officers the opportunity to make a recommendation to a judge if former people that have been let out of prison that they're supervising on parole don't need to be supervised. They have a job. They're doing all the right things. They're alcohol and drug free. They're with their families. They're doing the right things. They don't need to be supervised. It's a drag on their job. It puts them in jeopardy. It's a waste of resources that could be utilized on those that need the supervision, that are struggling with assimilating back into society. That's why this is so critical. We need to pass this. It's passed in states. We need to pass this on a federal level. And it's the logical progression of the First Step Act. It's just a great bill. And I encourage everybody to get behind this thing. Go to safersupervision.com, safersupervision.com, and you're good to go. Just a great piece of legislation. Safersupervision.com. This message has been paid for by the Reform Action Fund. Thank you. Okay. 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. AI has been somewhat dominating our discussion today. And I want to get to Pope Leo here talking about it. And cut 6. I don't have a problem with this. I don't have a problem with Pope Leo voicing his opinion on, the new industrial revolution and what it could mean. I don't have a problem with this. I mean, he preaches the gospel, but he's got a right to give his opinion on certain things. And he is the leader of the Catholic Church, plain and simple. So as a Catholic, I don't have a problem with it. I also don't have a problem with it popping off about, the Iranian war or anything else, as long as he's outside of the Vatican and outside of the papal preaching gospel realm. The guy's got a right to his opinion, right? He's another woke pope. I get it. But I heard here's what he has to say on this. I don't agree with it, but I don't begrudge him the right to say it. Let's go to 6th Pope Leo on AI.
Let's not fear artificial intelligence, but constantly keep the question of the human in play. We cannot be careless with our most powerful technical instruments.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that. We don't want to be careless. There needs to be guardrails. I mean, we do have people that are trying to self-medicate themselves based on AI as false information. We have young people that have developed a relationship with a chatbot. We've got one young fellow, I think, or young girl actually committed suicide and AI told them how to do it. I mean, these are the things where we need guardrails. So let's get to the Pope again, and let's get to, this is going to be number 14. Go ahead. Number 14.
Artificial intelligence needs to be disarmed. The word is strong, I know, but deliberately chosen because this moment needs words capable of attracting attention, awakening consciences, and indicating paths forward for humanity. The Church has long been working for nuclear disarmament, aware that every great technical power can affect people's lives, and so must be accompanied by adequate moral discernment and public control. Nuclear disarmament remains a service to peace and the dignity of the human family. In a similar sense, artificial intelligence now demands to be disarmed, freed from logics that turn it into an instrument of domination, exclusion, and death. Like nuclear energy, it must be at the service of all and of the common good. Decisions about technology must never be separated from conscience and responsibility. Let us not sleep as others do, admonished the Apostle Paul, but let us keep awake. Such vigilance is necessary today.
I mean, I don't take exception with anything he said. Everything about AI should be looked at and be sure that it is being used for the common good, right? Now we know that it's going to be developing biological weapons and codes for that and try to hack into things. We know there's a nefarious utilization of everything that goes on in the globe. I think all the Pope is saying is, hey, we need to be sure that we put humanity ahead of everything, and that this is monitored, and that it's for the good, not the evil. I have no problem with his position on that, right? Do I think the U.S. should put guardrails on it? Yes. Do I think we should restrict it to the extent the Biden administration did? No, because China's not. And do you think I need to embrace it? What Todd said was brilliant. Todd said a lot of the younger people coming out of college now got caught in the middle, right? They didn't have AI. They didn't get trained on it. Now they're out. They don't know enough about it, and they're scared. I get it. I was walking through the lobby here, going into my studio or getting I was getting a cup of coffee, and some guy was conducting an interview in the lobby. You know how they do some of those interviews in the lobby. They had a table they had reserved, and a young fellow comes in, probably mid-20s, male, and so he was sitting down, and I just happened to walk by at this exact time, and the interviewer said, one of the reasons you're here is because the AI experience you've got on your resume. Tell me about that and what you actually did. And just as I was walking by. So I didn't eavesdrop on it. I just heard it. I was going by, and then I went about my way. But obviously it is going to be an issue out there in the job market, no question. Let's get to the phone lines. Let's see if this is a real call and not a prank. Normally, my prank calls come in at 8 because they're too lazy to get up at 6. But let's see how long this lasts. Mac in Richmond. Go ahead, Mac.
Hey, good morning, Jay Fred. No, I was up at 6, buddy. I had my 1775 coffee at 6 in the morning. So
Good man.
This is a real call.
Okay.
Anyways, I wanted to just let you know, man, it was a pleasure running into you a few weeks back over there at Shorty's Diner up at the Willow Lawn area of Henrico County.
Right.
My wife said you were a really nice guy.
Thank you.
And great opening this morning. I'm getting kind of concerned about my fellow conservatives. I went online to make some political comments, and I noticed all the conservatives kept using the term stupid liberals, retarded liberals, yada, yada. And I see the complacency. They keep underestimating their opponents to a high degree. They are not stupid. They are extremely tenacious and extremely clever. And if we sleep on them, it's a loss. With that being said, when I'm out there in Henrico County, I can tell people are really down on the Democrat Party because, like you said, they don't stand for anything. They stand for two things: anything DEI and anything anti-Trump. That's all they stand for. That's all they have. So if we go policy first, we can beat them. And I know even young people are seeing that. I know they are. It's a matter of motivation. We have to stay motivated. I mean, I'm not going to lie. After January 6th, I thought our party was through. But we had strong people guide us through it. But that doesn't mean we can underestimate our opponent. But I had a question for you as well, Jay Fred. What is it with the rhinos hating Trump so much? Is it big donor money? Is it an ego bust? Maybe you know because you can put your toes in that world. I just wanted to hear it from you.
Let's unpack what you just said, Mac. Stay on the line. Mac from Richmond. Mac, haven't heard from you in a while, so thank you for the call. Good to hear from you.
Yeah.
So let's unpack what you just said, and let's start with underestimating the left. You're right. That's why I play the Mandami clips every day. This guy is really good at what he does. And he is a master of social media and of media in general. If you looked at the clip I played, I think it was at the 6 o'clock hour, when they asked him a direct question about taxing the rich, he didn't look at the host. He looked directly into the camera. I mean, you train that, but it's tough to get him to do. He looked directly in the camera. And this guy is very effective. Here's where we're going to get the money so that we can give more of it to you. Free buses, free subways, free healthcare, free childcare. We're going to get that by taxing those that have exploited the system. And if they want to move out, go ahead. But now they can't move out because there's restrictions. See, this is what he's done. And he's very effective. AOC is going to run for president. That's why she's going around the country. She is going to get votes. She is going to win primaries. Underestimating these people. Look, Kamala Harris was in no man's land. She didn't win the nomination. She didn't get the votes. She's not that bright. She couldn't put a sentence together. You got communists out there that know how to work this and how to exploit your fears. And so on that, are we underestimating them? Absolutely. That's why I play these clips every single day. They are not to be underestimated. That's why I'm for putting ballots in boxes and getting maps, right? That's the only way we're going to win right now in the short term. So you're 100% right about that. Let's get to your rhinos. Why do they have TDS? Why do they hate Trump? Because we took their party away. We just took it away. 10 years, they don't have a party. We took it. Precinct captains on up the list, vice chairs, chairmen. We took over counties. We took over cities. we took over the local party, and we took over the Republican Party lock, stock, and barrel. This was their party that they controlled to do nothing, keep their jobs in perpetuity, play footsie with the Democrats, hide behind mommy's apron with the cloture rules and everything else. And we unstripped it. We threw the curtain open. And now they're stuck. So the reason they hate us is because we took the party over, and we did that with the populist movement with President Trump that they loathe. They want to get back to George Bush, this Bush, that Bush, McCain, Romney. That's their comfort level. They want to get back there. They're never going to have it again. And we're ousting them piece by piece. We're taking the rhinos down brick by brick and disassembling it. And John Cornyn is one of the last to go. And today he's going to get wiped out by 15 points. 15 points gone. So that's why they're upset. And they have nowhere to go. They don't have a party because we took it away. Because now our party stands for something. Under them, it stood for nothing. What did Romney stand for? Do you remember one thing that Romney stood for? One thing? Mac, go back to 2012.
Nope.
Name one thing that stands out in your mind. Can you?
Romney Care in Massachusetts. That's it.
That's it. Obamacare light. That's what he stood for. I mean, it's unbelievable. You asked 8 people on the street that you meet, what does Trump stand for? Like him or not, you're going to have 8 people telling you exactly what he stands for. Close the borders, get rid of the illegals, etc. Cut taxes, right? Keep us safe. Iran can't get a bomb. That's what he stands for now. You don't know what Romney did. This is why the rhinos are on the run, and we're very we're not far. We're very close to just getting them all out of the party. And if you go back to 2018, this is when it started, and the rhinos in Congress started retiring, and then we started beating them in primaries, and then we started electing our own. By the time you get to 26, there's a handful, and the only ones that are there that are going to be there, Mac, are the ones that we allow to be there. As a MAGA-controlled party, we allow them to be there because the alternative is a communist. For instance, Fitzpatrick in Pennsylvania. You put a MAGA person in there, they lose. I'd rather hold a seat, and he votes with us 56, 58% of the time. You go to Maine, Susan Collins, 100% for Susan Collins, 100%. Why? Because the alternative is Graham Plattner, a communist. So those that stay in the party are those that we allow to stay in because we're not stupid and it's our best alternative. Does that make sense, Mac?
Yeah, and also, like, Maine and Alaska use that primary system where, like, you know, they do, like, 1 through 5 of both parties. I forgot what you call it.
Ranked choice voting.
And, it's just so pro-rhino. But like you said, it's better than getting another Mamdani in there. And, one thing that scares me about Mamdani, he's actually better on camera. And this is a compliment to the 2 people I'm talking about. If you look at his age, he's better than Obama, and that's scary.
He is better than Obama because Obama couldn't tell you what he actually believed. If you go back to Obama, I mean, he campaigned as a moderate. He really did. He didn't campaign as a communist. He didn't campaign as open borders. He didn't campaign on any of this stuff. You know, he tried to say, look, he's going to govern towards the middle. So he never told you what he believes. And he was very effective because he lied to you. Mamdani tells you directly, in your face, in your eyes, exactly what he's going to do. And that actually, because the Democratic Party has shifted so much, makes him that much more powerful. When you say what you're going to do and then you do it, there's power in that. And that's what he's been able to do. This is why Mamdani is so effective. As he tells you what he's going to do. He tells you in the camera, I'm going to take your money. I'm going to take your home. I'm going to confiscate your business. I am going to give it to my supporters. They deserve it. You don't. And he says that. That's why, Mac, he's so much more effective, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, Obama used a lot of his cabinet members to institute the policies while he beat it around the bush. Like, I used to work for the Department of Justice. I retired at a young age, thank God. But I was there. I saw how the DEI started. It started with Eric Holder. And they were just so good at, like you said, they had a curtain over it. But behind the scenes, it was like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain.
Right, Mac.
And now we're at, now we're at a deconstruction. Now we have to knock down that type of communism. And then you have this guy, Mamdani, who's just coming straight up forward. And I'll tell you what, the young folks like him.
Yep, they do.
Because that's their leader. Trump was our leader. That is their leader, 100%.
No question. No question. Because what he wants to do is he is playing the Karl Marx, everybody is repressed, everybody's exploited, everybody deserves what somebody else has. That's what he's playing, and he's playing it up in a modern, effective framework. They have something, you deserve it. Well, you didn't do anything to get it. It doesn't matter. You deserve it. You should have what they have. And I'm going to take it and give it to you. Vote for me. That's basically the ploy. All right, man. Thank you. Thank you, Mac. Good to hear from you. I've only got a minute, so we got to go to a break. When I get back, we've got, I got over a minute. Let's get very quickly. Amy in Wilmington. Amy, go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to comment on your last guest about the AI data center issue. He kind of misframed it to some extent. What people are fighting against isn't the data center per se. It's that particularly in blue states, there's not enough power to service homes as it is, and it has to be purchased. States like Delaware don't generate their own power. They buy it. So the concern is if there's already this problem of not being able to get enough power to generate homes, provide electricity to homes, we don't want data centers built until one or two things happens. The data centers provide their own power sources, or the state gets it together where they're allowing, God forbid, natural gas plants that we had here to open back up to generate power so there's enough for the data centers and homes. And this is the issue that people are complaining about. They've already, in many states like here, where all the power has to be brought in from someplace else, people saw 30-40% jumps in their electric bills this winter. And because here most people have to have electric heat. So that's the issue, not anti-data center. It's we want this power issue settled before we build the data center and not putting the cart before the horse with the data center up and no way to power it.
Amy, that makes perfect sense. Thank you for your insight. Amy in Delaware. We got Paul in Georgia. We got the chairman of the Maine Republican Party next. Keep it right here.
Toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our MyPillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our MyPillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door absolutely free.
Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund. Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you will destroy your life. Listen to The Flatline with your host Rick Hughes every Sunday morning on the John Fredericks Radio Network. The Flatline describes a main line of resistance in your soul, built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday morning for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education, all without manipulation. That's The Flatline with Rick Hughes, heard here every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on the John Fredericks Radio Network.
I would rather play with 10 people and just get penalized all the way until we got to do something else, rather than play with 11 when I know that right now that person is not sold out to be a part of this team. It is more about them than it is about the team. I cannot play with them, cannot win with them, cannot coach with them, can't do it.
He's your Godzilla of the truth in America. No gibberish or nonsense, just common sense. And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
All right, it's great to have you back. We've got a lot of great things happening here. We're going to go to Chairman's Corner, where we've got Jim Diamond with us. He is the Republican chairman of Maine. A lot of things going on right now in Maine, especially with this crackpot running for U.S. Senate. The guy's absolutely crazy. And before we get to Jim, let's play this. Let's play, guys, this one cut here if we can, Dan. If I can get back to it. This is. Let's go very quickly again to one. Just a couple seconds here. Ted Cruz and Ben Ferguson on this guy. This guy's a communist with a Nazi tattoo on him. It's unbelievable. This guy's the Democrat nominee. Get back to one, Dan, for a second.
Also, he has some bizarre things. He talks about how women who are raped, it's their fault. He attacks African Americans. He says they're cheap and they don't tip. Oddly enough, he also wrote about, this is bizarre fantasies about how every time he sees a porta potty, he wants to go inside the porta potty and masturbate in the porta potty. Look, this is weird. This is not mainstream. This guy is extreme. And you know what Elizabeth Warren says about someone who says all that?
She likes him.
No.
Vote for him. Send money.
Even more. She says, quote, he's my kind of man.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That was her quote from this past. Yeah, he's my kind of man. A guy with a Nazi tattoo is a communist who says he likes to do that in a porta.
Unbelievable. Joining me now, the chairman of the Maine GOP, the RNC chairman for Maine, is Jim Dreherman. Jim, thanks for being with us on our weekly edition of Chairman's Corner. And you're our featured guest today. Thanks for being with us, Jim.
Thank you, John. Thanks for having me this morning.
So, Jim, I just got to get this. I mean, this guy is bat crap crazy. I mean, watching this guy, he's the nominee of the Democratic Party, your former governor, who everybody thought was going to easily win this thing and would put up a fight against Susan Collins. Well, she dropped out. She couldn't compete with this guy. Money, she was way behind in the polls, and now he's a Democrat nominee, and the entire party has got behind this guy. What's the deal, Jim?
Well, he was brought in through, not brought in, but he was manipulated and located through a Bernie Sanders operation, Bernie and AOC. And Mills was handpicked by the other folks down there, down in D.C. And it's a fight. It was a fight in the liberal wing of the Democratic Party, and Janet Mills didn't have enough support. Schumer was backing her hard, and he kind of backed out, and that let Bernie and his team move forward. And I heard one of your other guests recently talking about the Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain. In this particular situation in the country, Bernie Sanders is the magician behind the curtain, pulling all the strings, and he's doing it here in Maine. But the problem we have in Maine is that there's just a few more Democrats than Republicans, and close behind is the independents, or unenrolled as we call them here. So it's a battle that always happens in a statewide election, and I really think that that when people finally go to push the button in November, I don't know what's going to happen with the primary coming up in a few weeks, but when they go to vote in November, I think people are going to finally use their head and put this to rest.
Let's talk about Senator Susan Collins. I'm a big supporter of hers. She always votes with us when the chips are down on the most critical issues. She's never really abandoned us one time. A lot of MAGA people don't like her, but in my view, she's there when you need her. She votes with us 65% of the time. Plattner will vote with us 0%, and a zero. So to me, I mean, I take Susan Collins here in a heartbeat. How does she win this race, Jim?
Well, she wins it by what she's always done, and probably Olympia Snowe before her. They've got the magic formula to get elected statewide in Maine, and you've got to win as many Republicans as you can, and then really get quite a bit of the unenrolled and the independents to vote for you, and that knocks off any edge that the Democrats have. And Susan Collins has been able to do that repeatedly, because she's just a damn good senator for Maine. And she does what she does, and she gets reelected, and she has done more for Maine than anyone ever could. And if, God forbid, if Graham Plattner gets elected U.S. Senator for Maine, we might as well just close shop and turn off the lights.
How would you right now, Jim, rate that race, poll-wise?
Oh, the polls are coming out with Plattner slightly ahead, but if you follow Maine politics, especially Susan Collins, that's where it always is. The last time she ran, she had a really good candidate running against her, and that candidate was, I think, 10 plus in the polls just before Election Day, and Susan Collins beat her like a rented mule. So I really don't go along with the polls up here. She looks like a small, delicate wallflower, but she is a powerhouse. I've come to know her since I moved here to Maine, and it's really amazing how great a candidate she is, and the great things she does for Maine. And people remember that up here. Just keeping hospitals open and fire department staffed, the amazing things she's done.
How is her, Jim? How is her health?
Her health is great. She has a tick, but I was with her yesterday, Memorial Day, in my hometown of Southern Maine. she was there. She gave quite a long speech. It was well received. A big round of applause. And she had just come from marching in a parade earlier that day in the pouring rain, and she left us and she went to another Memorial Day celebration. There's nothing wrong with her health, and people are attacking her because she has a tick, a bit of a shake. But she's spoken about that. It's not real, but it's kind of disgusting that the Plattner people are bringing that forward in any attempt to denigrate her.
So her shake, it's not Parkinson's, as I understand it, right? Yeah.
No.
So she doesn't have Parkinson's disease, but she does have a shake. And look, I mean, people have different things that matter. And the fact that, they have made fun of her for that, it just goes to show you how decrepit that whole campaign is and how bad this guy is. We're with Jim. Jim, say your last name so I say it right.
Dearmond.
Jim Dearmond. We're with Jim Dearmond. He's the chairman of the Maine Republican Party, and this is our weekly edition of Chairman's Corner on the John Fredericks Media Network. Jim, tell me a little bit about the 2nd District. Paul LePage there, we understand, way ahead in those polls. He's going to win that seat. That's a pickup for us, Red. Tell me about the makeup of the 2nd District and LePage's campaign.
Well, if you look at the state of Maine, the Democrats really control most of the 1st District, which is the southern coastline from the tip of the New Hampshire border into Maine, all the way up to Bucksport, which is about halfway up the coast. And that's where the greatest population in Maine is too. So, but the 2nd District, where Paul is running, is more rural, and it takes up the majority of the state geographically. But unfortunately, it's made up of many thousands of acres of empty land and lumber and lakes and beautiful rivers. But he has been doing a bang-up job up there. And he was a beloved governor here. The Democrats will tell you otherwise, but he was a beloved governor. And when he stepped into the race, he just was in the lead from the beginning. And we had some inkling that the Democrat that was running for re-election might not finish the race, and that came to be true. And Paul is up there just campaigning like a barnstormer. We've added 30,000 plus Republican voters in that district. We're working our butt off to make sure that he gets elected. And one of the biggest things that scares me is people will see that and say, well, he's got it. I don't need to go vote. But darn it, we need everybody to get out there and vote across the state. It's imperative that people get out and vote. We can't let this.
Tell us, you said you added 30,000 Republican voters in the 2nd District in Maine. Can you elaborate on that, Jim?
Yeah, well, we had a lot of people, many people moved out, but we had a lot of Republicans move in, and we had a lot of independents that switched to the Republican Party. And we discovered up here in Maine, it was something that I actually tripped over doing some paperwork one day. We found a bunch of people on our voter rolls who shouldn't have been. They had duplicate voter numbers, which means they could have voted twice.
Right.
So we made hay with that, and then we discovered that there were more than 600 at even just a snapshot view. We found 600, and the Secretary of State quietly, because she was being sued by the federal government, and that's still going on, access to the voter rolls, she quietly purged the voter rolls of almost over 100,000 voters. So
wow.
We were able to clean up the rolls and increase the voters up there in the northern and western areas of Maine.
So tell me about the makeup of the state right now, registered Republicans, Independents to Dems.
Yeah, there's probably 300,000 or so Democrats, 275,000, give or take, on any given day, Republicans. And then just behind Republicans are the unenrolled independents. And they make up a vast majority of the electorate that you need to win. So in Maine, you've seen our other senator, which I'd like to send back to old Virginia, Angus King. He is a hardcore Democrat, but runs as an independent. He is not an independent, but there is the independent spirit in Maine, the woodsmen. They're still here. The people who work out in the wilderness, There's still a paper business here. It's not what it used to be, but there are a great many people out there who really think before they vote and have not decided not to be in one particular party, but many of them are conservative.
So basically, you're only 25,000 behind in party registration, but then you got 250,000 voters that signify themselves as independents, and where they go is where the state goes, right?
Yeah, that's it exactly. And if you don't play that, if you don't think that in your campaigning, you're doomed to failure.
Jim Dayerman with us. Jim is the chairman of the Republican Party of Maine, trying to make a comeback there. Jim, tell us a little bit about the makeup of your state house.
The state house, we are probably in the state representatives, we are 4 behind of taking the majority. The last election, President Trump ran, we had an issue here in Maine where a lot of people came out to vote for the president, and thank goodness they did. But a lot of them went in and voted and didn't vote down ballot. And we lost control of the state house by 4 seats. We've been making it up. We've had 1 or 2 people leave, but we are pushing hard to take back the state house, and I believe we will in November. The state Senate is a little bit harder. The numbers are a little bit wider, but I believe we have a good shot of taking that back. And we call it the Blaine House. It's the governor's mansion right across the street from my headquarters where I am now. And we believe that with our 7 gubernatorial Republicans running, all of them businessmen, I believe we're going to take back the Blaine House and the governorship. So I believe that Maine is going to change. It's not pie in the sky. It's not wishful thinking. I really think with the hard work we've been doing behind the scenes, a lot of people don't know about, we're going to take back Maine and turn it red again. It's not the purple state that it will not be the purple state that it has become. We plan on taking it back.
Jim, tell me about the governor's race there. Janet Mills, obviously term limited. She's out. Tell me about some of the leading Republican candidates and who the Dem is.
Yeah, we've got 7, and it's a close race. There's one or two that keep switching the lead, and one will tell you that he's the leader. But all of them are relatively close, and they've been on the campaign trail for quite a while, and I've got to know them all. And watching them campaign, they've actually become friends. They are politicians, and they will do whatever they can to get elected. But at the end of the day, I think many of them have developed friendships, and they're all businessmen. Mm-hmm. Any of them could take over the state of Maine the next day. Janet Mills has ruined this state. The last 8 years of her reign, Maine used to be one of the highest levels of reading and math test scores in the country. We are now down at rock bottom. It has been destroyed. Our industry is gone. Our electric bills are probably the highest in the country. And because of our high electric rates, no business in their right mind would come here to set up production. So the Democrats have deindustrialized Maine, made electricity so expensive, no one wants to be here. And our youth move out as soon as they can, and our elderly cannot move because it's too expensive. That's what the Democrats under Janet Mills have done.
Tell us about the battle for the nomination on the Democrat side.
They've got the same group of people running. They don't have a very good recruitment camp. They're trying to out liberal, out communist, out socialist each other, but they all kind of hang out together, and it's kind of amazing. But we have Angus King Jr. Is running. We have our Secretary of State. Probably everybody in the country knows Shanna Bellows. She tried to take President Trump off the primary ballot here in the last election, and she was swatted down by the U.S. Supreme Court unanimously, and she's still running on that record that she took down Trump. So they're hardcore leftists, a la Graham Platter. So in Maine, it's a battle, but. I know you're from the Virginia area, so a lot of your people down there will understand that up in Maine, a lot of the Democrats here are retired educators and government workers, and they're the ones that are driving the Democratic Party. The rest of the working public here in Maine, we've taken over the working man and the working women, representing them. So they're now Republicans. The Democrats have lost that. So and they're a much older party, and I really think that we're bringing in the youth. We're doing a great job, and I think things are going to change here. We're not going to let this fail. We're taking it back.
So, Jim, you actually believe that you guys have a shot in Maine with your work to win the governorship, take the House back, not the Senate. That's not likely. Take the House back.
I think we have a good shot at the Senate. I'm not giving up on the Senate. It's going to be a close run thing, closer than the House.
Really?
Yeah.
Closer than the House?
Yeah. Well, no,
Right.
it's the House. I believe we're going to take back the House. The
Right.
Senate is a close run thing, so it's very close race. But I think we're going to do well in the House.
So you guys could actually run the table. You could win the U.S. Senate race. You could win the open congressional seat with LePage. You can win the governorship and win the state house back. All that is possible in November.
It's possible, and we're pushing hard to do it. We're working harder than ever. Our staff here is increased. We're doing things we've never done before to get people out to vote, and we're trying to reach the low propensity Republican voters who in the past may have decided to sit it out for whatever reason. We're going after them individually in the state. So I believe things are going to change here for Maine, and they really need to, because the state is at rock bottom, and another 4 years of Democrat control, it'll be too late.
Jim Darriman with us. Jim is the Republican chairman of Maine, trying to basically pull off the trifecta there. Jim, tell me about when is the primary in Maine, and is it a runoff or a straight plurality?
We use ranked choice voting here in Maine, and that's June 9th. So anybody who is thinking of using ranked choice voting in their state, fight it tooth and nail. This was passed a long time ago. It was the people were sold a false bill of goods. It's really a democratic operation, and it makes their candidates rise. So June 9th is our primary. It is kind of an open primary. If you change your party soon enough, you can vote in the Republican primary. But I don't think we're going to see a lot of that. But we have 7 candidates for governor. We have a whole slew of House races. We have 2 congressional districts. Even down in CD1, we've got 2 great candidates running. So there's some open primaries. I mean, there's some primary races to watch here. But the governor's race should be probably the most important. I believe that's going to be a bellwether. That we're going to see what's going to happen with Maine with the governor's race.
So if you have, is there ranked choice voting in the primaries as well?
Yes.
Okay. So if you have ranked choice voting, like let's take the governor's race, and the majority of the candidates are MAGA candidates, and there's a rhino in there, like, because now we dominate these primaries with the majority being pro-Trump MAGA candidates. Why does ranked choice voting in the Republican primary hurt your effort? Wouldn't that mean that you're going to have a nominee that got first place votes, second place votes, etc., and is probably more conservative than the rhino who's not going to get those votes? How does that hurt you in your nominee?
I think all the candidates have a good shot at this. You want to label a rhino. I think I know who you're talking about, Jonathan Bush.
Yes.
He's pretty much come out and told people that, he thinks that President Trump's doing a great job and has backed him. So I wouldn't put the rhino label on him as much as some people are. The guy, it surprised me. I was an EMT and 9/11 joined the Army as a private. Didn't go to West Point or become an officer. So I think he's a little different than some people are making him out. But we have other great candidates. And the problem with ranked choice voting is we may not know who the winner is for a week or even up to 2 weeks if it's close. and how many
Yeah, but if
layers
you come out with the best, here's my argument for ranked choice voting in primaries. If you come out with the best candidate and it takes an extra 5 days, so what? It's not like your primaries in September where every day matters. You're at the beginning of the summer. You're at the beginning of June. So the reason why I favor ranked choice voting in primaries is because the candidate that emerges as your nominee is going to have not only a plurality, but he's going to be a lot of people's second choice, which means they can't attack each other, which really goes to what you said, Jim, at the beginning, which they're all friends, because you can't do the negative advertising because you need to be the second choice, which then safeguards somebody pouring in millions of dollars of negative ads like we're seeing in Georgia. That's my argument in favor of it. And I think it might turn out to your benefit. Let's just wait and see. Jim, I want to thank you for being with us on Chairman's Corner. I want to thank you for all you do. It seems to me, Jim, like you're putting together something in Maine that people don't see coming. You actually could win the whole thing, pull off the trifecta, Jim, right?
Yes, sir.
People want to follow you in Maine, Jim. Where do they go?
Oh, we're on all social media. You can just do a search for the Maine Republican Party. We're on everything, and we'll take donations too. If your listeners out there want to help Maine, donate to the Maine Republican Party. We need every penny to fight this battle that we're seeing here, and we're doing a great job, but we need more help.
Let's go, Susan Collins. Jim, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
The Texas Truth Line is next.
Iran would give up its stockpile of highly enriched uranium. At Arlington National Cemetery, President Trump mentioned those who were killed fighting Iran.
We lost 13 wonderful souls, wonderful, special people.
The president said there could be no 4th of July without America's armed forces, and there could be no Independence Day without Memorial Day. Ed Donahue, Washington.
And U.S. forces launched a new series of strikes on Iranian military targets. An evacuation order lifted for some of those evacuated from their homes near a chemical storage tank that was in danger of exploding in Southern California.
It's not over yet. We still have work to do.
Orange County Fire Chief Craig Covey.
There's two things that we're going to be still doing an operation on. Number one, we still have to mitigate a fire and very small explosion concern, and also a spill potential.
President Trump's endorsement has carried a good deal of weight in recent GOP primaries. Today we'll see how things go in Texas, where incumbent U.S. Senator John Cornyn is facing a runoff against Trump-endorsed Ken Paxton. The winner will face Democrat James Tallarico in the general election. From Texas to Georgia to the Carolinas, forecasters say flash flooding is possible today. Much of the South swamped by torrential rains. And 4 people are dead after a train collided with a school bus in northern Belgium. On Wall Street, Dow futures 308 points higher. NASDAQ futures up 309. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a super fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. But wait, there's more. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be switching to an American wireless company that's committed to keeping 100% of its customer service in this country. I appreciate that. In fact, that's why I switched. I also appreciate the way they support our vets and our skilled workforce. Dial pound 250, say micro, and get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. That's pound 250 micro. Stop paying twice what you need to pay for the service you want and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Rescuers in Thailand are racing the clock to reach 7 people trapped in a cave by flooding.
They're hoping that they can just keep pushing away to reach what they expect would be an upper chamber that may be above the water level, where they assume these people would have gone for safety, but they won't know. They don't even know if they're alive yet until they reach them. And when you look at the images of the conditions they're working in, they're extremely rough. Tiny cavities they're going into, divers coming out completely covered in mud, They're trying to pump water out, but they're up against these very torrential rains at the moment. So it's an ongoing rescue effort, but at this stage, very unclear what the outcome will be.
That's the BBC's Jonathan Head. Firefighters have been battling wildfires in Scotland, and several drowning deaths have been reported as a spring heat wave scorches parts of Western Europe. Temperature records have toppled in the UK, London experiencing a rare tropical night when the temperature remained above 68 degrees. News and analysis, townhall.com. A Dominican baseball star convicted of abusing a minor.
Tampa Bay Rays shortstop Wander Franco has been found criminally responsible for the sexual and psychological abuse of a minor by a judge in the Dominican Republic, but he will not serve a sentence. Franco was arrested in 2024, accused of having a relationship with a 14-year-old girl, during which time he paid the girl's mother thousands of dollars. The mother was found guilty of sex trafficking and sentenced 10 years. The judge says he took into consideration that Franco was a victim of extortion, so he was given a judicial pardon. It's not clear what will happen to his major league career. The Rays placed him on the restricted list, which means he hasn't been getting paid. His full sentencing is set for June 16. I'm Jennifer King.
European Union officials say Europeans can expect oil and gas prices to remain above what they were before the Iran war for at least until the end of 2027. Prices for other goods also following an upward trajectory. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
This meeting with China and President Trump, the stakes couldn't be higher.
Listen, China's not our friend. They've been stealing our technology. They've been stealing the AI, responsible for the COVID. We have to be very, very careful about giving stuff to China.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
It's the top news of the day.
China wants the oil from Iran.
They want to make a deal that's good for them and not piss us off too much.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging supplements clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cell's Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's The John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who is 6 months to a year ahead of everybody but God himself, John Fredericks.
Oh, it's great to have you. And we've got the Texas Truth Line coming up and Lieutenant Governor Pam Abbott all right here on the John Fredericks Media Network, coming to you live. I'm your Godzilla of the Truth, coming to you live from your nation's capital, Washington, D.C. Truth and clarity right here. This segment brought to you by the Vapor Technology Association. You know, President Trump got the vape vote. A lot of people vape. Well, they had to go from cigarettes to vaping like I did. Not an easy task when you're smoking a pack and a half a day. So look, all we want is small business to be able to thrive that sell vape. Now, you got to be 21 or older, right? But the cancer stick lobbyists in Richmond, right? They're all there. They drive up in their limos. They got their $5,000, Armani. They got their, I'm sorry, $15,000 Italian Armani suits on. They got their $20,000 Rolex watch. Yeah, been there, done that, right? Meantime, vaping is one of the most important small business industries in the United States. You got to be 21. And a lot of people need vaping to get off the cancer stick like I did, pack and a half a day, not good. But you know what? They're trying to put them out of business. Why? More regulations. President Trump said he was going to save the vaping industry. We want him to do that. All you have to do, for more information, go to vaportechnologyassociation.com, vaportechnologyassociation.com. Save the vaping business from the cancer stick lobbyists that are trying to crush them with meaningless regulations. That's how the Washington works. I'm here. I see it every day. Disgusting. More information, Vapor Technology Association. And this message has been paid for by the Vapor Technology Association for vapors like me. All good. Nothing new. Better than the cancer. Not perfect. It's better than the cancer stick. Okay, we got the Texas Truth Line coming up. Joining us now, Chairman, Texas Republican Party, Abraham George is with us. Big day. It is election day, primary day in Texas. Some people have Paxton up by 15. 15. That's 10 plus 5. I don't care if he wins by 1. It's meaningless. He's going to be the nominee, and he's going to the Senate, and he represents MAGA 2.0. So I'm fired up. I'm also predicting big upset. Chip Roy is going to be the nominee for Attorney General. We'll see how that plays out. We got Abraham George with us. Also, we've got Paul is with us. Let's bring in Paul. Paul Sauer, your candidate's going to go down in flames by 15. But I do appreciate your effort and your passion for John Cornyn. But you're going to take the big L in about, 12 hours. But it's all good. I know you'll be out there campaigning for Paxton. You're a good Republican. It's all good. Good to have you with us, Paul. Paul, your audio's not on. Okay, joining the Texas Truth Line here, Lieutenant Governor of South Carolina, Pam Abbott. Pam, thanks for being with us. You're on with John and the Texas Truth Line. Pam, big day for you. You got a big rally tonight.
I do.
I'm going to get into that in a minute, but all eyes right now on your governor. We've got the maps passed. The Senate rhinos in there, the obstructionists, they tried to jam this thing through today. So the argument is, well, you can't do it in 26 because you've already had 1 day of early voting, which starts today. How do we get these maps in place, Pam Abbott, 2026?
So, you know what? The Senate is going to vote today. It's third reading. We are just worried about the congressional election. And, you know, I've stood there in subcommittee and heard the Election Commission talk about how we can do it. We'll have enough time. Time is of the essence. But, you know, we will send out, you know, if there were absentee ballots to our military overseas, we will send them a new one. We'll make sure everybody's vote counts. So I think John, it's up to us as leaders and Republicans to assure everybody that they are going to have a say in their congressman, that everybody's going to get a vote counted. And now we need the senators to vote third reading so we can get it to the governor's desk tomorrow. And we can make sure that we send 7 conservative Republicans to Washington, D.C., to represent South Carolina, to push across the America First agenda. That's what this is all about. This is bigger than South Carolina. This is really about our nation. And John, I don't know about anybody else on the panel today, but I remember how horrible it was when Joe Biden was in office. And all it was open borders, crime on the streets, defund the police. We can't go back to that. We need to make sure we take and keep control with bigger margins in the House and in the Senate.
Pam, tell us about when you get the third reading today. Obviously, you only need 50% plus 1. So you have the votes in the Senate. It goes to the governor's desk, Governor McMaster's desk tomorrow. He signs it. Is there any more obstacles to getting your map redone for the extra seat in 2026?
Nope. The election commission will start their part of this process. They'll get, new ballots for just Congress, from what's my understanding, ready to go. There will be a new election date for Congress only. And as Republicans, we will work hard to make sure that the voters of South Carolina know about this new date, understand its importance. And, I, for one, will be working for all Republicans to make sure that we get, again, 7 strong conservative Republicans to help with President Trump's America First agenda.
I tell you what, you've been the leader on this issue from day one. And if this happens, and now it's imminent that it does, you have to take complete credit for this, because you also were way ahead of the governor on it, who was kind of, let's just be honest, dragging his feet on the whole thing. He wanted the Senate to make the decision, but you were relentless in getting this done. You're like the Joan of Arc of South Carolina. Let's bring in Texas Chairman Abraham George, because Texas went through this with your 5 seats. Abraham, you got Pam Evitt here, Lieutenant Governor, running for governor of South Carolina. You guys went through the same thing in Texas. Now you're going to pick 5 seats up.
Absolutely. John, I got to say thank you to Lieutenant Governor, because we've been watching you all for a few days, well, actually a couple of months now, to see how this is going to turn out. And thank you for your leadership in running this in South Carolina. And like you just said, it's all going to come down to how does our next 2 years is going to look like. Is it going to be impeachment from Democrats, or are we going to get the America First agenda done? So, thank you for championing this in South Carolina. We got our 5 seats done, and in the next few days, we're going to have 30 congressional members from Texas going to DC instead of 25. So we're excited for that.
And then from South Carolina, you're going to have 7 instead of 6. And you know what's interesting, Pam, is the Democrats are saying, well, be careful what you wish for. We could pick 2 seats up. Well, if that's true, why are all the Democrats in the Senate not in favor of it?
Oh, John, I've been saying that forever. I've been saying to Republicans that have been saying, do you think this is good? They hear this nonsense that the Democrats are putting out there. And I said, listen, if the Democrats in South Carolina thought they could pick up 1 or possibly 2 more seats, they'd be running from the well to get a vote counted. Don't listen to their rhetoric. My dad used to have a great saying, John. He used to say, don't tell me who you are, show me who you are. And they're showing us the fact that they know that we are going to send 7 conservative Republicans to Washington on behalf of South Carolina. And, it's amazing to me, John. And I mean, when Democrats get caught with their hand in the cookie jar, which President Trump catches them all the time, and then he brings it to light what do? They start crying foul. They start whining. I mean, look at the New England states. I mean, the way their map looks, you wouldn't think there was a Republican to be had up there. And now they're saying, oh, this isn't fair. This isn't right. No, what President Trump has said, listen, we have to use every arsenal in our toolbox, every piece of equipment to make sure that we keep this country together. And that's what we're doing in South Carolina. And thank you to Texas for doing your part. I know you have big elections there today, and early voting in South Carolina starts today. So anything y'all can do, rallying up your troops here in South Carolina to make sure they get out and vote, because less than 13% here in our great state is not acceptable.
Now, Pam Evitt with us, Lieutenant Governor of South Carolina. Pam, I understand you've got a monster rally going on tonight in Myrtle Beach, but you're being criticized because you're not participating in the final debate, the Republican governor's debate. You've decided to withdraw from that, instead do your rally. A lot of people, including Columbia media there, local media, blasting you on it. How do you respond to that?
Well, John, I stopped letting bullying and intimidation sway my opinion in high school. I don't go back on that now. Listen, I have been traveling this state more than any of my opponents, shaking people's hands, doing roundtables, doing town halls since July of last year. And I've been at every governor's forum. I've answered every question. Shame on the media if that's what they're saying, John, because I have never not taken questions from them. I think the voters of South Carolina know where I stand on the major issues, pretty much on all issues. And now my focus is on reminding those voters to get out and vote. Because like I said, early voting starts today. This is exactly what we need to be doing, is rallying up our base to get out and get energized. Republicans need to be doing that everywhere.
Let's bring in Abraham again. Abraham George, who's the chairman of the Texas Republican Party. Abraham, you've got your own runoff election today. Give us a little feel about the turnout you guys expect. And the most recent poll that I saw has Ken Paxton up 10, 12, 15. Doesn't look like, after President Trump's backing of him, doesn't look like John Cornyn is going to be even competitive in this race. But tell us a little bit about that and a little bit about the AG race.
Well, you're going to give Paul here a heart attack if you say 15 points. But so Ken Paxton is leading. I've seen numbers, like you said, from 7 points to 15 this morning. I've got a poll coming out of CWS, I think it shows 16 points today. It looks like Ken's going to win. President Trump endorsed him about a week ago, and that changed a lot for him. He was leading in polls for a while. His major issue was he didn't have a lot of money compared to John Cornyn. John Cornyn brought in probably about $80, $90 million in the past few months. And then, AG race, it's about the same. Chip Roy versus Mace Middleton. Both are good conservative fighters. So I've been, John, in your show itself, I've said that most likely it's going to be Mace, but Chip has closed the gap, and now it's anybody's game. It depends on who's going to show up today. All of these polls are great, but if people don't show up today, it does not matter. It's every single person literally showing up. So that's what it comes down to. Both campaigns, all campaigns, both French and Jim Wright is on Railroad Commissioner, which is basically our energy commission. They don't have anything to do with the railroad. But they're all running, and it's all statewide, and there's a lot of effort behind all of those campaigns. And we're seeing something that we haven't seen in a while. In 24 and 22, when we had runoff elections, you get to see like 10, 12, 13% of people show up. We're seeing a lot more this time because of this. Huge names are on the ballot. Ken Paxton, John Cornyn, Chip Roy, Mace Middleton. These are all household names in Texas. So a lot of people are going to show up today.
Paul, I'm going to get to you in a minute, but look, I got to tell you that I got on Team Paxton early. I gave him my endorsement early. We went down there for a bus tour. I think we were there 2 weeks, and that's when we just talked to everybody and knew he was going to going to win. So, look, I've been his good luck charm. I want to do the same thing for Pam Evitt. Pam, without a doubt, you have my full, unequivocal, full-throated endorsement for governor. I hope to get down there to campaign with you as well, like we did for Ken Paxton. I think if we can do that, you're going to be able to win this race. And if you win the primary, you're going to be the next governor. And I think you're going to be one of the leaders in MAGA 2.0 going forward, Lieutenant Governor Pam Evitt.
Thank you so much, John. That means a lot having your endorsement. I know you were watching and have been watching this race, and we're going to keep fighting all the way to the finish line. We'll be out on the road for the next 2 weeks, and please jump on. We have a Get Out the Vote tour that's going to happen around the state the week before the election. So come on down to South Carolina. The water's great. The sun is out. And, if you like golf, we're going to go past, numerous amounts of golf courses on the way. We'll let you get a little driving range practice in.
Well, I'm going to need that. Pam Evitt, want to thank you. I know you got to get back out on the campaign trail. Your big rally tonight. You've got my full backing. Good luck in your campaign. And again, I want to compliment you for your leadership and tenacity in getting this seat done in South Carolina. You were the leader to do this. I just want everybody to understand you never backed off, you never backed down. And I always tell everybody what we're looking for in MAGA going forward. We're looking for fighters. We're looking for people that stand for something and are not going to back down. Ken Paxton is MAGA 2.0. Pam Evitt, MAGA 2.0. Pam, people want to follow your campaign. Where do they go?
They go to PamelaEvitt.com, sign up for my newsletter, hear about, all my opinions on all of my platforms, and look where I'm going to be at. We're going to have a Get Out the Vote tour around the state the week before the election. Stop out. I want to shake your hand. I want to ask you for your vote. I think that's really important, and I want to hear what you have to say. And you can always donate on there and sign up to volunteer. Those are always two really important things to do also.
Sounds like we've got to do a bus tour in the final week. I'm going to try to put that together. I know
Perfect.
It can't be as good as Texas, but I'll try my best.
Barbecue is different.
And good luck in Texas today. I hope you have a huge turnout.
Huge.
Thank you,
it's
man.
going to be huge, Pam.
Huge.
And I know Chip Roy is going to win because from nowhere, my Astros won 4 in a row, pitched a no-hitter against Texas last night, and now as bad as they are, they're only 3.5 games out. That means if you follow the line, Chip Roy wins. That's kind of the way it works. Pam, thanks for being with us.
Everybody looking for a sign. I understand.
That's the sign, Pam. No-hitter by the Astros. Chip Roy wins. Pam Evitt, thanks for being with us. All right, let's finally get Paul in. Paul, sorry it took us a couple of minutes here, but you guys are going to get blasted tonight.
Thank you.
Not a good way to start, John. What's up with you?
Well, thank you again for having me on, John. And I do think the Lieutenant Governor, Evitt, she's definitely an impressive woman. So I wish her the best of luck with her campaign. And Chairman George, thank you again for being here today. Good luck with your election to regain the chair seat. So just want to touch on a few things. Number one, polls are wrong. We knew they were wrong in March, right? We thought this was going to be this big gap, and then come to find out, guess who was on top, right? So they're wrong there. Fundraising numbers, I think fundraising is a real big thing because we look for a few things in campaigning, right? Money, message, movement. Yes, Paxton does have a movement. Money is kind of a little falling behind, and messaging, all right, I'm not Cornyn, but let's look at something also, the endorsements, right? So we have fundraising, endorsements. Now let's take that into the runoff elections. What we're seeing on a few polls that were put out based on early voting results, and that's just speculative because it's based on the precincts that they won and the polling sites they polled high. We're seeing that among the polling sites that Cornyn won, turnout is higher than the March primaries, okay? That favors Cornyn in those areas. Those are some of the highest turnout polling sites, especially in San Antonio, which is Brook Hollows, Encino, Parman. Those are very strong numbers for him. Travis County, again, very strong numbers for him. I mentioned again, Dallas, where Paxton is from. He's doing good in the urban areas. Okay, so there is that blast. I'd like to see what happens along the border, but Cornyn's been doing a good job going out there, touting his record and saying, hey, the mix up between myself and President Trump is that yes, he is upset. He's the chief executive in charge. He's always been. He wants what he wants. I can't deliver it for him because of the constitute of what the Senate is right now. However, I have voted with him 99% of the time. I've whipped votes for him on the Trump tax cuts. Big, beautiful bill. I'm still standing with him, and I'm the best suited to get in there and work with this group to deliver for President Trump. He painted Paxton very well as a candidate with a lot of bags, and I've heard it. I was at the polls right after our show, and I talked to people there, especially our older community, our veterans, and they are definitely looking at the baggage of Paxton, and they don't look at it favorably. They're not turned on necessarily by Cornyn. They think it's time for a change, but they don't like the baggage of Paxton. I think those things are working in our favor. Again, I think we win +3.
Well, I have to admire your stick-to-itiveness with your candidate. That was a pretty good defense of your situation, and I do appreciate that. I also love the fact that the way you're spinning the way you've positioned. That's a better word. It's not spin. The way you've positioned the Trump endorsement of Paxton. That was very articulate and very convincing as well, because you don't want to make us an enemy. So that's a good thing. So
I'm your friend. I'm your friend.
See, Abraham knows when he gets reelected, right, there's going to be a place for you somewhere in his organization, because that was a good.
You sure know how to speak.
That was good, Abraham.
I'm telling you.
Well, Texas Young Republican Federation, we've always been a partner with the Republican Party of Texas. And, we look forward to continue solidifying that alignment and continue to do what we do as activists and cultivating the next generation of conservative leaders. So, we're here, we're ready to work. We've been working, and we're at your service, sir.
There you go. So, look, we've only got a minute, Abraham, George, and I know you have to take off. Just give us your final rundown here, like winners, losers, and how this is going to shape the Texas Republican Party going forward.
Right. So, I think Paul will agree with me on this. Regardless who wins tonight, the real goal is to beat Talarico. We're looking for new nicknames for him. We have Low T Talarico, we have Talafrico, and there's a couple others we haven't kind of come up with the final version of it. But again, the idea is the Republicans stand together and defeat him and Gina Hinojosa, who's running against Greg Abbott. We have a bunch of congressional members who is being challenged. So at the end of the day, this has all come down to who is going to control who's going to control the state. Is it going to be the Republicans or the crazy Democrats? So in that case, me, Paul, everybody else in the Republican Party, we will come together. We will get this done. But tonight is not that night. So we're trying to figure out who's going to be on our ballot. And I still think Ken is going to win tonight. Chip Roy versus Mace Middleton, I have no idea. I'll be honest with you. It's that close. The numbers are so close. Some of them have Chip as winner. Some of them have Mace as winner. Both French and Jim Wright is the same case. Both French is leading in a lot of the conservative polls, and Jim Wright is leading in some of the moderate polls or establishment polls. So, but almost every poll shows Ken Paxton winning. So, including the polls from the other side. So we're just looking for our candidates tonight, and I'm going to be at Ken Paxton's watch party. Tonight is the night that I'm just going to be put it all on the line. I'm like, you know what? I know I have to be neutral, but tonight I'm hanging out with my friend. But end of the day, it comes down to like what South Carolina is doing. That are we going to have 2 more years of President Trump's governing us and that team, or is it going to be impeachment? And that's what it matters.
There you have it. Abraham George, want to thank you for being with us. The chairman of the Texas Republican Party, Matt Rinaldi, couldn't make it today, but Paul James is with us. Paul, hang in there. We're going to get you back. Give a lot of airtime here to debate things after the break. When we get back on the Texas Truth Line today, big primary day, runoff day in Texas. Big race, Paxton, Cornyn. Paxton up big, but hey, you got to vote. You got to run through the tape. And as Paul James says, you know what? We'll see what happens. Got to get the votes in. Talk is cheap. Ballots and boxes and maps. That's all that matters. I'll be right back.
Yep.
And use promo code Godzilla.
All right, folks, I need you to do something right now. Go to johnfredericksradio.com and take our brand new 2028 Republican presidential straw poll. Who do you want leading the ticket? Don't let the elites decide. Make your voice heard. While you're there, weigh in on two huge issues: eminent domain reform and President Trump's tariff policies. Are they protecting American workers or hurting growth? This is your movement, your vote, your voice, your choice. Go to johnfredericksradio.com right now and take the poll.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Solti almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Solti. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Solti, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
If you want to go after an athlete, one of my athletes, you go after one that doesn't do the right things. You don't downgrade him because he does everything right and may not play as well on Saturday, and you let us make that decision. That's why I don't read the newspaper, because it's garbage, and the editor that let it come out is garbage. Attacking an amateur athlete for doing everything right. And then you want to write articles about guys that don't do things right and downgrade them, the ones that do make plays. Are you kidding me? Where are we at in society today? Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
He's the voice of Virginia.
No, you can't. You have one of the worst voices I've ever heard in my life.
And the commander of common sense.
Fire at will, Commander.
Now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Okay, you got him back. Big day in Texas today. I've been on Team Paxton from day one. I believe he's going to win tonight, and I believe he is MAGA 2.0. As I've been saying for some time, we've got to understand what our movement is post Donald J. Trump, simply because he's going to be termed out in 2028. Doesn't mean that he's not going to be on the scene, but the movement has to endure well beyond President Trump's tenure here. And so I believe that MAGA 2.0 is going to be led by those who are fighters. That's going to be it. If you fight, you're in. If you don't, we're just not interested. Going to have to fight the way the Democrats fight every single day. Joining me now and staying with us with the Texas Truth Line, Paul James. Abraham had to go. And so, Paul, you got this all to yourself. Matt Rinaldi had some other business today. He couldn't make it. But if you look at the makeup of Texas here, a lot of the Democrats are saying, hey, you're not going to win those 5 seats, maybe 2 or 3 of them in play. But everybody in Texas I talked to on the Republican side say that's a pipe dream, that basically Texas Republicans are going to win all 5 and send 30 representatives to Congress. Do you see the same thing there, Paul James?
Yes, sir. I totally agree with that evaluation. One of the biggest things I would say to look to is number one, look up the candidate quality of candidate and the demographics of those candidates. Those candidates, I'll give you a great example, the Texas 35 race, John Lujan. Here's a gentleman that was born in that district. His dad was a pastor. He's the first Republican to win that seat in 88 years. So if for 88 years, they've never voted for anyone else, they voted for John Lujan. Here he is running in that race. And there's also another notable candidate, the Trump endorsed candidate, is Carlos de la Cruz. His sister is Monica de la Cruz, who's a sitting congresswoman for Texas 15. So very strong candidate recruitment for these different offices. In Houston, you have Briscoe Caines, which is definitely favored by the far right and the ultra conservatives, and Alex Miliar, who ran against Lina Hidalgo for the county judge seat. That was big for Harris County, and she's continued to keep her profile up there. One of her big endorsers is Mattress Mac. You would know Mattress Mac. He's also a favorite.
Oh, yeah, I know Mattress Mac. Oh, yeah.
Well, that's his girl.
If you're an Astro fan, everybody knows Mattress Mac.
Yeah. And everybody, I think he should get a Presidential Medal of Freedom for the level of humanitarian that he has been for Houston and Texas in general. I mean, he's just always been there, and God's blessed his business in a tremendous way.
Well, I think his endorsement of the young lady that ran against Hidalgo, who ran a pretty good race, as I remember. I think that endorsement carries a tremendous amount of weight, and I think as a result of that, she's going to win tonight.
So we have great candidate selection this time around. They speak to the demographics of the areas that were drawn, and I think that they will carry over into some of the other races because they will bring people up. Another major thing as we look at Cornyn versus Paxton, the get out the vote efforts. I'm not sure if you've been paying attention to Governor Abbott. Governor Abbott has taken on this get out the vote role, like very serious the last 2 election cycles. I mean, just like you, he got a bus and he's doing a tour, right? But prior to Governor Abbott in the last 2 elections doing that, Cornyn was very big on that, especially in the urban areas. So helping a lot of the down ballot races, investing in judicial candidates. He was doing that already. He has an experience. He has a connection to different groups like that because he's been investing for a long time. We've seen Ted Cruz now move into that in our state house, endorsing people like my state rep, Mark DeRazio, and a lot of other prominent conservatives in the Texas State House. So you need someone that carries those votes down ballot and can invest in the get out the vote infrastructure. I personally believe Cornyn is going to really do well for us in November, pending the results of tonight. And I would like to see Paxton make a stronger effort in fundraising and also trying to bring a lot of these other races out to the front, because at that position, it's a focal point to fix everybody's eyes and focus on the broader agenda going down the ballot.
I agree with that. I think if you're going to be in the position of Ken Paxton when he's victorious tonight and he's leading the ticket basically going forward, that he should make an effort to campaign and get votes out for judges, state house members, county commissioners, things of that nature. You got to get down to the more local level and just not be campaigning for yourself. And I hope Paxton does that.
Yes, me too. Another big race in this, the attorney general race, and I can easily see Senator Mays Middleton being victorious in this, and him and Chip Roy are doing the same thing. But I'll tell you, Mays, my first meeting with him was actually through Texas Public Policy Foundation with the Liberty Leadership Group, where he was in the smaller settings having these more intimate conversations on state policy, or social issues. And so that connection that he had personally with different groups of people. This is why it seems like, Chip Roy is a personality known nationwide. He's the leader of the Freedom Caucus. Like you say Chip Roy, everyone knows him. Go to any state, they know Chip Roy. How is this guy coming up? I don't think in that race per se, it's a money thing. I think it's the deep connections that Mays has had. I mean, my impression of him was always he's a genuinely good guy, extremely sharp, very good on policy, great conservative record in the state house. I have nothing against the guy. I just think when I think of an attorney general, I want a bulldog, and there's no bulldog like Chip Roy. And so I'm perfectly fine with Chip Roy being my attorney general. I know he will do the things he says he will do, and he'll find a way. I don't doubt Mays can't do it, but in this particular instance, the show test is real. Chip Roy, you don't need to blink twice to see who needs to be in that role.
Listen, I mean, he's come from far back. He was kind of written off about a month when I was there on the bus tour. I don't remember when that was, 3, 4 or 5 weeks ago. He was pretty much written off. He was down by 10 or 15, and it didn't seem like he was going to. But all of a sudden, he came from nowhere and to close the gap. So he's closing, and when you're closing,
momentum.
Formerly being in the horse racing business, right? When you're closing, that's a good thing. So we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be very close, but I'm going to go with my theory. He's an Astros fan, so I'm going in with my theory that 2 weeks ago, everybody we were written off for it was May, and they're already writing us off and talk about fire sales and trading Alvarez and gutting the team, and the dynasty was over, and it was time for sell off, trade everybody. All the panicans were out there, and I'm like, look, it's May, and half our team's hurt. Let's start getting our players back and see what happens. It's not like we're playing in the AL East. The team in first place is under 500, so we're only 3.5 games back. That's my theory. Astros win, throw a no-hitter, beat Dallas last night, or Texas, whatever the hell their name is.
A 9-0 no-hitter, right?
9-0 no-hitter, 3 pitchers. I just think it's lined up for Chip Roy today. That's my theory. Somebody actually called me and asked me during the 8 o'clock break why I thought Chip Roy was going to win, and that's what I was quoted as saying. Astros won, stars are aligned. It's the way kind of mystic of the mystic of the world. Mystical.
Well, I mean, and if they know so going back to my philosophy, money, movement, message. Chip Roy's been campaigning and saying this in the Congress on a regular basis. Probably the last 3 terms, he's been talking about radical Islamic jihadists invading our country, closing the border. These things are not, they're not brand new things for him. You can go back for years and see him trying to push these things at the federal level. He couldn't do it because you need to have that majority. In the state level, where he has all these attorneys working at his discretion and leadership, we're going to get a lot of stuff done under Chip Roy. I definitely believe it.
Listen, I think that Roy is going to win tonight. Paxton, obviously, we don't see eye to eye on that, but I think he wins easy. But look, it's going to be Texas this is why we do the Texas Truth Line. It's ground zero. Tell me about this campaigning in Texas against what people see as Sharia law and an undue influence and influx of the Muslim community. As a younger person, member of the Young Republicans Federation, frame that for us here.
So I think it's become very alarming with a lot of these people that, what happened on October 7th in Israel was kind of a flashpoint. I think it had been happening. If you look at areas like Houston and Dallas, you've seen people coming in and you've seen the culture changing, but there wasn't really a situation to inflame the relationship that had been taking place. But after the October 7th, and then the retaliation of Israel, and then the United States not necessarily coming out right away and taming it down or getting involved, but taking Israel's side on it, that was a flashpoint. And I'll tell you, the Democrat Party, and this is me speaking, I personally don't believe it's the Democrat Party. I don't believe they even have balls at this point. They're completely neutralized. This is a Democrat Socialist Party of America. What we're seeing is what Mark Levin talks about in American Marxism. Okay, this is the European export of Marxist communism trying to take hold again in the United States, and it's being done by using the Islamic community to do this, because they took this situation where we could see what was done was horrendous to Israel, and then they turn around and said, but look at what they've done to us. No, no, no. Let's look at what has just happened and acknowledge what has happened. And they do have a right to prosecute that atrocity and prosecute that war and hold those people accountable. No, instead, you saw all these people put things around their face and start chanting genocidal claims. And now that's created the bigger rift to where now everyone's looked at it and said, hey, who are these people and where did we get all these thousands of people all of a sudden in our city centers, in our streets, chanting for this? You know, it was almost like George Floyd. Where did we get all of these people all of a sudden that feel this way? We go to the grocery store, we're in school with them, we're at work with them, and we never see this, we never feel this. And this flashpoint has caused people to look at it and say, I don't want that to get any further out of hand than it's already getting right now. So again, Chip Roy has been talking about this, I mean, as long as I can remember. And I came to the party actually after the 2020 elections because I felt something was done incorrectly in that election. I personally believe the votes were there that President Trump was the successor, was the victor of the 2020 elections. I do believe there was mishaps that caused him not to take the presidency in that year. However, that led me to getting involved and paying closer attention, and that's why I'm where I'm at today. And I think all of that has led us to the point that we're seeing the unchecked immigration has become a detrimental problem to the future of our republic. It needs to be something that's handled effectively and very swiftly.
Well, I think you're 100% right there. Paul James, who is part of the Young Republicans in Texas and with the Young Republicans Federation of Texas, tell us about when you talk to young people and they're looking at the future and AI, what are you hearing?
So it depends on the crowd. I would say I can tell how they vote if they bring up the water issue or if they bring up the work issue. So there's two different conflicting thoughts. There's those people saying, well, look at what it's going to do for the water and look at what it's doing to the grid and all of that. And then there's the people like myself that look at, okay, how does that affect me in job security going down the line? 5 years. Elon Musk was just speaking about it the other day where he said by next year, it's computing on its own. It doesn't need our inputs. It's going to be able to go beyond that. I forgot the name for that threshold, but he's estimating by next year, it's going to go beyond that threshold. So I think that there is a lot of apprehension to it, but I mean, it's forced me to try to figure out, okay, what is AI? How do I use it? How do I implement it in my day-to-day life? And I've been playing around with it. I would tell you the one I kind of like a lot is Claude. I think it's very professional. I think it's something that interacts in a very stable way. Yeah, I talked to a friend last night. She said sometimes she feels lonely or questions herself. She's talking to Chat GPT at night. I said, no, pull out the Bible, say a prayer, do something else. I don't trust Chat GPT to counsel me on something that I'm afraid or concerned about. But you're seeing different levels of interaction. And again, you can tell how these people vote. They're not bringing up a water or energy situation. They're concerned about where do I stand as this thing develops. Now, with respect to the water and so forth, if we were to really drill down on what Trump is saying, Drill, baby, drill. If we were really to be serious about what he's trying to do with Venezuela, with Iran, with controlling the market and putting us as the gas station of the globe again, right? We saw successful talks in China. Japan is buying our LNG, right? All of this is setting us up to be the energy capital of the world once more. Let's drill down on this, and we can expand our energy capacity to where we wouldn't even need water. Okay, I spoke to a professor from USC, Dr. Sean, and he said if we could enhance our energy capacity 20% more, they wouldn't need water to do cooling. So we'd fix that problem altogether. So I think it's incumbent on us to drill down on that harder. And the biggest thing is access to capital. This is an era where I think Texas, you see, we're having Y'all Street, the Wall Street version that's moving and building in Dallas. Once
Y'all
that's
Street.
set up,
I like that.
Y'all Street. Yeah, next bus tour, you need to go to Dallas and see Y'all Street. It's beautiful. Outside of New York City, Goldman Sachs and Chase Bank, their biggest office is in Dallas, Texas. Globally, their biggest office is Dallas, Texas, outside of New York. And so this is going to bring capital to power our drilling, our natural gas, our power generation. I'd like to see a lot of municipals get into that as well and help support these mid-tier operators that do a lot of the heavy lifting.
I don't think. Look, I like Y'all Street, but you definitely have the quote of the day. If you're lonely, don't go to Chat GTP bot. Read the Bible. That is the best line of the day. That's the best line of the day. And I happen to agree with you on Claude. I'm a Claude fan. And
good.
One of the things I like about Claude is that it is not MAGA, right? So you got to understand that. I mean, it's not written. It's not going to give you the MAGA stuff. But when you're trying to do just simple like analytics on it, it's pretty straight up. So if you're using it for that, and like I do, I don't have time to research things. So I just want, analytics on, who won this race by how many, how many people voted. I mean, that's going to come up. So you got to train it to do that. But I'm a big fan of that. I know a lot of conservatives aren't, but I find it to be helpful. The one thing that I'm looking for with AI is how can you make my job, how can you make me and my employees more productive? How can we get more done? So at the end of the day, we can get more revenue and build a bigger, better, stronger company. I mean, that's what we try to use AI for. And when everybody says, oh, it's going to replace all these jobs, I ask a simple question. Give me an example of a job in your world that it has replaced or will replace and in the next year. And they can't give me one. Nobody can give me one. Like, what is the job? Like, you just called a plumber, they can replace that? No. I mean, what, your air conditioner went out. Are they going to replace it? No. Okay. Astros just pitched a no-hitter. Is AI going to go up on the mound and, strike out Ramirez? No. So what job is it going to replace? Nobody can give me an answer.
Well, I'll tell you this. There was a period of time, and I wrote about this I had a piece that went viral for Newsweek, and I talked about my evolution from somebody that wrote in Bernie Sanders in the 2016 election. I wrote in Bernie Sanders because there was no way I was voting for Hillary, and my experience of President Trump was as an entertainer. So, I mean, like, if I lived in California, I wouldn't have voted for the Terminator, right? I would have voted for an actual politician. So I wrote in Bernie Sanders, and where I was at that point in my life where I felt down on myself, I didn't have certain skills that competed at that point outside of the oil and gas industry. I mean, it's easy to feel like, yes, this is going to take an opportunity for me because you don't see any. But as you retool yourself for the economy, and this is an indictment against the current state of the American education system. Personally, me, I wish it's all school choice. I think they should federalize the whole idea and be done with it. Folks need to find the actual educational programs and trainings that best suit their abilities so that they're not stuck with one frame of thinking. It's almost like they mass produced a bunch of people to think one way, but they can't adjust to how life is changing. And so they become depressed, they become angry, they just give up on hope. I wasn't educated necessarily in a public education system. I went to Catholic schools. I actually went to a special program in Buffalo, New York for a year, and then I finished up at high school, public high school in the Virgin Islands. So my frame of thinking was always challenged and always changing. I'm not indoctrinated in any one way of thinking. That's how I can go from Bernie Sanders to being a Trump Republican, and proud of it, you know. But I think that this is speaking to the general state of education. We need to do something that allows people to adjust better.
I agree 100%. Paul James, you are the future of MAGA, right? Right here.
Yes, sir.
Paul, people want to follow you. Where do they go?
The Real Paul, Paol, on Instagram. I just got on TikTok, and The Real Paul on X. I've been tweeting a lot, so join me.
Well, good for you. All right, Paul James, thanks for being with us. Thanks for your passion. That's going to be it for the John Fredericks Media Network today. For my show, the Media Network continues. Michael Patrick Leahy next.